only makes sense when it's moving forward, when it's actually accomplishing something.
For truly to make the world a better place, we learned that key businesses, not just governments, should make it a point to make sustainable development a key component in their respective strategic agendas.
We can only achieve such great feats if we work hand in hand. Moral leadership defines leaders who live for the greater good. Innovative leadership defines a person who overcomes limitations and has both a creative mindset and sincere dedication to create positive, impactful change in people's lives.
Gender equality is a cross-cutting issue. It is the change that requires all of us to participate, to make a difference, and to own both the successes and the setbacks we may face along the line.
I don't believe that Filipinos are destined for poverty, and neither are you. And I believe that everyone in this room has the greatest chance to succeed in life if you really want to.
It's not about your politicians. You can change them every day, but the country can still stand stable and prosperous if you have an effective bureaucracy.
So all of you in this room have a choice to make. You can watch the world change, or you can change the world.
But change takes time. And that's what I am young for.
Not so long ago, a boy with autism got lost in an SM mall. For a while, everyone else seemed lost too. No one knew how to help him. That's when we started instituting programs and activities to care for the community and environment. Not only for children with autism, but for the other vulnerable sectors of our society. The story of the lost boy became a lesson and motivation for SM to begin an advocacy that would create a more informed and inclusive community through SM Cares. A division of SM Foundation, the corporate social responsibility arm of SM Supermalls, SM Cares was launched in 2004. Since then, we've been working towards creating positive change for the communities that we serve. Through partnerships with public and private sector organizations, we hope to promote social inclusion, and care for the environment. Our programs also contribute to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030. We dream of creating a mall for all, where no one is left behind. A place where everyone has access and feels safe within our community. Because we believe that a little care goes a long way.
I'm Leonard Faustino, the Youth Development Director of Global Peace Foundation in the Philippines. The role of youth in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals are crucial and very vital. It is innate to the young people that sense of creativity and being innovative to provide solutions to the different global challenges that we are facing. Our world is fast moving, and there is no doubt that the eager minds and youthful zeal of young people of this generation can surely adapt to the new and better normal. Filipinos have general reluctance and unfavorable attitude towards formal help seeking, despite the high rates of psychological distress. They tend to reach out to their family members or close friends rather than discussing it to experts. That's why it is very important to discuss this openly to the public, like what we are doing with SM Cares through our Global Youth Summit. We openly discuss this topic, reach out to experts, and encourage the government to add more resources, to invest resources to address this problem. In terms of vision, the Global Peace Foundation has a very big vision in reaching the far-flung communities in the Philippines, to reaching every young people in the country. And it was made possible through our partnership with SM Cares.
Hi, I am JC Baltazar from the Philippines.
My name is Maya and I live in Indonesia.
Hey, my name is Vital Salou.
Bonjour, mon nom c'est Jean-Marie Coadju.
Hi, my name is Ranga from Indonesia. My name is Taufikul Alamapon and I'm from Bangladesh.
I'm Vicky and I'm from Taiwan.
Here in my country, it is always a challenge for young people to secure good employment.
Many of the young people in our country, including myself, we don't always have the figure, the guide, or the right environment for us to navigate what we really want to do in our career and develop ourselves in that direction.
Us young people have to teach ourselves the ways because schools can keep up.
That is why we have a significant level of underemployment wherein you are doing a job not aligned with your degree just to get that level of experience.
L'agriculture n'est pas aussi valorisée que les emplois administratifs. Et la plupart du temps, ce n'est pas rentable.
But then, who's sustainably growing our food in the future?
Young people today are big aspirators, dreamers, and achievers, hoping to work in a company that has big impact and adds real value to the world.
And nobody but us can make it happen. And we are ready to do that. Right, guys?
So in 2020, I started helping out the store owners to run their business online. For that, I had to learn about digital marketing and logistics.
Nestlé m'a permis de développer mes compétences et mes connaissances afin d'améliorer mon exploitation.
I want to thank on the learnings I have gained by working at Nestlé, a big dream company of mine. Witness and nurture directly the value chain starting from how raw materials being delivered till it's served to the fork of consumer. This led me down to a journey of self-growth and self-discovery to be the future agripreneur.
I'm glad that there are many wonderful people and resources in Nestlé to help me to become a better and a more experienced person so that I can have courage to face the challenges in the future.
It's amazing just how much Nestlé is willing to invest in us youth, and I'm excited to learn and grow more with Nestlé.
In 2008, poverty, illiteracy, corruption, and identity-based conflicts in the Philippines became top challenges to its national growth and development. To support the government's efforts, Global Peace Foundation Philippines was launched in 2009 to help respond to the needs of Filipino communities through its programs and initiatives in major development areas. Global Peace Foundation Philippines engages the government, civil society, and private institutions to advance sustainability and peace in the country through its community development programs. All Lights Village, or ALV project, combines solar technology with clean water solutions, education, income generation, and public-private partnerships to improve the overall quality of life in the communities in measurable ways. Globals works with the Department of Education as a service provider of the Alternative Learning System, or ALS, to extend education opportunities to out-of-school children, youths, and adults. Character and Creativity Initiative integrates character and creativity into all aspects of school culture towards the development of the whole person, making education more relevant in the 21st century. Global Peace Youth Philippines, its youth division, has a mission to educate young people to become future leaders with both moral and innovative capacity. Global Peace Women Philippines empower women's leadership in a culture of service for the larger community and guide families to implement solutions to common challenges. Global Peace Foundation Philippines brought important changes in more than 40 communities and among thousands of Filipinos across the country. These are in terms of community development, education, disaster response, and leadership development among women, youth, and leaders from key sectors. With the help of our generous supporters and partners, we've come a long way in supporting the underserved and remote communities and have advanced in promoting moral and innovative leadership. On its 8th year, GPF Philippines is more determined to help address the country's challenges in poverty, illiteracy, and leadership development.
This Global Peace Camp really reminds me of something that I was born with a focus.
Safe spaces for all spaces, please.
We have aligned our work to support the achievement of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. We challenge and invite you to work with us towards a more progressive, ethical, cohesive, and compassionate Filipino communities, families, and individuals. Participate in our workshops, volunteer, talk to your CSR outreach department, donate. There are many ways to join our growing network of Peacebuilders.
Let us welcome one another to a global community that truly cares.
For the greatest dream of all, at the end of the day, is a world of peace. We're all members of one human family under God.
I have strong faith in our youth. I know you will rise to the challenge of our times. I know you will not neglect your country and abandon your future.
We are a vital part of making this planet whole again. For making this country whole again, mindful again.
Pag meron tayong hugot, maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign that that pain was meant to open up our eyes and open up our hearts to something that we need to take care of.
Every child has the right to grow up in an environment where they feel safe and secure and have basic services and clean air and water.
Kaming tutulong na mga institution sa kanila na hindi sila nag-iisa sa journey nila through fighting depression and anxiety.
It has been very entertaining, and it's it's lighting a fire on us to start our own projects in changing the world.
Thank you, Global Youth Summit. Thank you, SM Care. It was such a great experience, and I hope that I'm able to instill in their hearts and in their minds how they can create safe spaces for the children and the youth in their own communities.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. And we are back for day 2 of the Virtual Global Youth Summit 2021 in conjunction with the Global Peace Convention happening via Zoom, Facebook, and On24.
Yes, that is right. Hello, Cholo, and I am Micah, Louisse, and we are your host for this year's Global Youth Summit. Yesterday was such an amazing start for the topic of good health and well-being. We had a social media influencer, y'all know him, Dr. Kilimanguru, and of course we had Dr. Vergere from DOH as well. Firstly, I really appreciate how Dr. Vergere run us through all the details that we need to be informed about with regards to the DOH's COVID response for the next coming months or even for this year and the coming years. And for Dr. Kilimanguru, he took two seemingly very controversial topics, COVID and fake news, and relayed to us as simple as possible how we can share COVID facts to everyone without coming off too intimidating and with inclusivity and engagement in mind.
And of course, yesterday we talked about quality education as well. We had Mr. Chito Macapagal of the SM Foundation and Dr. Agnes Valenzuela of Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization. And you know what? Just a takeaway from both talks is really just the importance of education and how we, our youth nowadays, should have good education to be able to lead not only their countries but the world to a better place in the future.
Yes, that is right. And we will not slow down because today we will talk about sustainable cities and communities transitioning to a better global new normal, zero hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. And last but not the least, we will also talk about decent work and economic growth, creativity and innovation, skills for the 21st century. I mean, just wow. These topics are all so exciting and relevant to us today.
That's right, for sure. And before we get started, don't forget that we will be giving out lots and lots of prizes like what we did yesterday. So again, we will be having winners of shopping vouchers from SM and vouchers from Nestlé. So simply listen to each speaker very well and tweet us your takeaway from the talk. Share the hashtag GYSTakeAway that gave you the most impact, and you just might win shopping vouchers from SM Cares and SM Supermalls and Nestlé vouchers. So pay close attention and tweet away your hashtag GYSTakeAway. Now, we will also select 6 additional winners of, wait for this, 2,000 pesos worth of SM shopping vouchers from SM Malls Online. So simply download the app via the link or QR code flashed on your screen right now. There you go. Post a photo on Facebook with a picture of the SM Malls Online app on your phones and use the hashtag GYS2021 and hashtag Global Youth for SDGs. And tag SM Malls Online and just make sure to put your post on public. Again, this is only available for Metro Manila residents. So what are you waiting for? Download the SM Malls Online app now. Be one of the 5 or 6 lucky winners of 2,000 pesos worth of SM shopping vouchers.
But wait, Cholo, there is more. We have a very big surprise for all of our registered participants and GYS takeaway respondents on Twitter. Globe, our official telco partner, is giving away 3 units of the Samsung Galaxy Fit. There's more. 1 unit of the Samsung Galaxy A10 in the color black. And lastly, 1 unit of the Samsung Galaxy A20 in the color blue. How amazing is that? So make sure to tweet us with your hashtag GYS takeaways and make sure to keep asking your friends, your family to join us today before we get started. Oh, speaking of, before we get started with day 2 of our virtual Global Youth Summit. Again, we would like to thank the organizations who worked hard to make this virtual summit come to life. Thank you so much to the Global Peace Foundation. Thank you to SM Cares, Consuelo Foundation, CIE British School, Rotary Club of Makati Circle of Friends, Nestlé Philippines, Unilever, and as well as Globe.
Of course, we would also
All
like
right.
to acknowledge our child and youth protection team, then, no, who are present at this
That's
event.
right.
So the child protection team is established for children or youth to reach out if they feel that their rights have been violated or if they feel unsafe because of things that happened during the event. Now, they can contact the Child Protection Committee through Global Peace Foundation Philippines Facebook page and can drop their concerns there. Now, to all of our viewers, we would like you to share your photos or your selfies in the comment section. We would also like to meet you and celebrate with you International Youth Day. All right, so
Happy
don't forget.
International Youth Day!
Yes, don't forget to take your photos. You know, I know that we would have wanted this to be live in the Mall of Asia Arena, but you know, again, like what I said yesterday, this won't be short of amazing. So take memories with you still. Take your phones, capture some videos, some photos, get your GYS takeaways because that might win you prizes. But again, happy International Youth Day. But like what I said, we have tons of stuff happening today, so let's get started. Now, our first topic for today is about sustainable cities and communities, architecture, planning, and urban design well into the new world order. Nowadays, the rapid and continuous urbanization of cities come at too high cost, worsening environmental conditions, diba? We see that now. But with this, each one of us must be highly alarmed and must realize that it is high time for us to act on it, as this issue will eventually affect every citizen. Now, SDG 11 aims to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Now, this goal is a daily reminder for us to have an active interest in advocating the kind of a community we believe we need, and eventually turning each city from what it should, what it should be. Now, to discuss this further, our first speaker for today is a Filipino architect, urban planner, and he is the principal architect, urban planner, and founder of Palafox Associates. He is in the field of planning and architecture for 4 decades, serving both the government and private sector. Let's all welcome our first guest for today, architect Felino June Palafox Jr.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Cholo and the organizers and Miss Micah for having me here, and glad to be here. And thank you to SM Cares. SM Group, the late Henry C., was the one who invited me to come home from Dubai to help our country. And we've done several projects with them. And Global Peace Foundation, I'm a trustee. And Global Peace Foundation worldwide, I've known them, worked with them since 2006. Very noble initiatives from two organizations. So my talk today, I think my team have put so many slides and 3D, so I have to talk very fast. Architecture, planning, and urban design well into the new order. The normal will never come back. So I call it New World Order. Next slide. By 2050, 68% of the world's population will live in cities. This century is a century of cities. The past century was a century of nations. And by 2050, our country needs 100 new cities with 148 million Filipinos. The challenges our communities, towns, and cities face today is climate change, the destruction of ecosystems, rapid increase of population, environmental pollution, uncontrolled urban development, pandemics, poverty, and man-made and environmental hazards. Next slide. Yeah. To accommodate such a huge number of the future, to manage other challenges, our urban planning, architecture, urban design should be more sustainable, inclusive, healthy, smart, and resilient. Urban planning, it's really known as urban regional planning in our country, town planning and country planning elsewhere in the world, city planning, rural planning, environmental planning in the Philippines, and the art of giving shape, design, structure to the cities and towns, involving various processes, such as final product, not just blueprint, like arranging, designing buildings, transportation system, public spaces, utilities, determining the land use and environment and natural resource management, among many others. Next slide. So, importance of urban planning. As population grows, urban planning helps communities, towns, and cities grow in a planned, sustainable manner. Urban planning embodies a vision that is formed from the aspirations of both the government and the people, balancing distribution of resources, improving the urban quality of life, combines protection of the environment resource with community goals, helps in addressing environmental issues, increasing safety and reliance from natural as well as man-made disasters, planning of efficient public transport system, waste management, and other infrastructure, positive impact on the economy, and better utilization of resources that create more jobs and other economic opportunities. And these are the top 10 cities in the world, and Los Angeles is not one of them. And this is the wrong model of our Philippine cities. Los Angeles was planned for the automobile, not for the pedestrian. So, top green cities in the world, you have Tampa in Florida, and in Asia you only have Singapore. And then the smartest cities in the world in Asia, number one in the world is Singapore and Taipei, the only two Asian cities. And urban mobility, the only Asian cities that made it here are Hong Kong, Seoul, Singapore. Resilient cities, no Asian city. San Francisco, Silicon Valley, New York, London, Boston, down the line. And then for most livable cities, Auckland, and only two from Asia. And the next slide shows the tourist cities, several cities from Asia: Bangkok, Dubai, Singapore, Tokyo, Seoul, and Kuala Lumpur and Hong Kong. Gateway cities, international arrivals. Number one is Dubai. I was part of the planning of Dubai. Dubai, Hong Kong, Singapore, Incheon, Bangkok, and Madrid. And safest cities in the world: Tokyo, Singapore, Osaka, Seoul, Korea. And innovative nations, number one is South Korea. The Asian countries involved mentioned is South Korea, Singapore, Japan, and Israel. So you can see our development is using the wrong models, car-oriented cities elsewhere in the world. Global best practices vision plan for the city of Paris 2050. Vertical gardens, vertical urbanism. And the city mayor of Paris now is doing a tactical urbanism during this pandemic, tactics, making Paris a 15-minute city. All your destinations should be within 15 minutes, walking, biking, and public transit. Toronto Urban Forest Program, lot of tree planting, because it takes 10 trees at least to recover the oxygen out of the carbon monoxide per car. Next slide, please. So Barcelona, Spain, La Alhambra, there's below this pedestrian street is a drainage canal. If you only have one day to see Barcelona, you can see the culture, architecture, cuisine from the center of the city towards the waterfront. one of my favorite pedestrian streets in the world. And when there are more eyes on the public realm, there's less criminality because criminals are scared when there are more eyes on the street. They're not scared of high solid walls. Look what happened to Marawi. Next slide. And Paris introduced a car-free city in 2020, installed more than 1,000 kilometers of cycling infrastructure since the pandemic design. They have a visionary lady mayor with strong political will. Stockholm, Sweden, they know how to treat their waterfront. Waterfront is a front door of development. And in our country, we have the third or fifth longest coastline in the world, and yet we treat our waterfront as back of the house, basurahan. Elsewhere in the world, like in Dubai, Dubai had only 70 kilometers of waterfront. So the rulers of Dubai decided to reclaim man-made islands and palm islands and excavated the desert with man-made lakes and man-made rivers to have more waterfronts. Next slide. Copenhagen, one of the most bike-friendly cities in the world, elevated bicycle highway. So even the Prime Minister of Denmark and other Scandinavian countries, they bicycle to work. They don't ride a car. Next slide. And Vienna, Austria, security by design, more eyes on the street contribute to public safety. And you can see again, there's better security when there are more eyes on public realm. Criminals are not scared of high walls. They can throw a grenade, shabu factory inside, rape people inside, no witnesses. In our country, high walls is like a status symbol. It even breaks the cross ventilation of our cities. Next slide, please. Duo Singapore, residential tower, more than 100% open space. Because the building footprint that occupied on the ground, they put at the rooftop the gardens. Some of our tall buildings in our cities and countries, they want to reach the sky, but they don't know how to meet the ground. In case of disasters, the ground floor don't have enough space for refugees of disasters, fire trucks, and ambulances. It's all maximizing profit. Never mind the environment, never mind the people. Next slide. And Bosco Verticale, I met the architect of this in Milan. 20,000 trees and plants across a pair of towers can transform approximately 44,000 tons of carbon dioxide into oxygen each year. Next slide. And the EDGE in Amsterdam, smartest and greenest building in the whole world, can produce 102% of its energy requirements through its 5,900 square meters of solar panels, rainwater harvesting, and 30,000 sensors for energy efficiency. And I will recall it in France, biophilic building, vertical agriculture in an urban landscape. I also met the architect of this. Next slide. And this one in Copenhagen, Denmark. This is a waste to energy. It's incinerator. I also met the architect here. He's a fellow lecturer at Harvard, Graduate School of Design and the American Institute of Architects. So they made a slope from the roof. So you have a dry sky slope in the middle of the city, incinerator that produces also energy. Next slide. And Melbourne, pioneer in water management, effectively tackles frequent droughts, stormwater harvesting system, capturing, treating, and stores stormwater for irrigation reuse, intercepts polluted stormwater runoff before entering the river. Next slide, please. California Academy of Science. I visited this and also know the architect of this. 1 hectare living roof absorbs 98% of all stormwater, preventing 3.6 million gallons of runoff water per year. I had a conversation in a public forum with the Mayor Richard Daley of Chicago. And he said, I asked him, what's his style of governance? And he said, the leader must be the exemplar, not the exempted. So he required all public buildings in Chicago to have rainwater harvesting, green roofs, solar roofs, all government buildings in Chicago, before requiring the private sector to do green buildings. Next slide. Sustainability is the official definition, meeting the needs of the present generations without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. I prefer the definition of the Native American Indian Seattle. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. This is our guiding principles for green sustainability at Palafox. Green architecture, green urbanism, technology, energy, interior design, engineering, transportation, infrastructure, manufacturing, purchasing, green jobs, and hopefully we'll have more green sustainable urban developments. I signed up before D2000 with the American Institute of Architects, of which I'm a very active member, that by 2030, our buildings we design should be carbon neutral. Sometime in 2008, I returned a $1 million architect's fee for a 6-star hotel in Subic because my foreign investor clients were able to get a tree cutting permit from our government. And they instructed me to destroy 366 70-year-old trees. I returned the contract. I got a legal case against me for 50 million pesos for not honoring the contract and reporting the anomaly. Because to me, a 70-year-old tree, the replacement value is 12 million pesos. For the oxygen, it gave the planet Earth for 70 years. Fertilizer, it gave the Earth. The rainwater harvested. The cooling effect and beauty it gives the environment. So the 12 million pesos times 366 trees is more than $1 million architect's fee that I have gotten. So I enforced the category, I returned the contract. And we should walk the talk, not just talk the talk. Next slide. And one of my professors in Harvard told us that this century will be a rest century. Reimagine, replan, re-architecture, redesign, re-engineer, redevelop, renew, reduce, reuse, recycle, renaissance. And during this pandemic, everybody is talking about reboot, rethink, reimagine, and redevelop and redo. Next slide. To me, there are 6 kinds of infrastructure. Progressive infrastructure, these are international airports, seaports, international schools, international world-class hotels and hospitals. Hard infrastructure, we all know that. This is the build program of government, roads and utilities and railways. Soft infrastructure, the ease of doing business, no corruption, no red tape. Green and sustainable development, that's what we are advocating strongly. And digital, Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, and institutional infrastructure. And this is our overarching guiding principles at Palafox again for accepting projects. Number 1 is people first or social equity. Then number 2 is planet Earth or the environment. Number 3 is economic goals, prosperity and profit. We also have to consider culture, history, and heritage, and interfaith spirituality. After all, if the chief architect up there, me as an architect, it's just an instrument, planning progress, designing projects, creating opportunities for other people. Next slide. Integral ecology. Green urbanism tries to reduce carbon footprint in communities and destinations by making them more walkable, bikeable, ensuring that the community achieves balanced lifestyle where there are places to work, play, live, work, shop and dine, learn and worship with some 24-hour cycle activity centers. Green architecture, and the next speaker, Raymond, we're together in the Philippine Green Building Council. We promote green architecture for buildings. Buildings and their occupants must be kept healthy and respecting the environment, natural light and ventilation. Next slide. Green building, this is a design competition that we won first, second, third prize for a proposed DBP building in Fort Bonifacio. Again, it utilizes less resources, generates less water, reducing pollution, preserving greenery, waterways, and natural heritage. Solar panels, rainwater harvesting, sky gardens, and so on. Next slide. And green building, we have been reintroducing in our architectural designs the wind tower, which I learned from the Middle East. They had, before oil was discovered, they have wind towers to collect the wind from above, ventilate the rooms below, and cross-ventilate them. Some of the projects we've done elsewhere in the world, even in Iran, reduce the temperature by 20 degrees in summer without air conditioning. Next slide. And This one, we did it for, there was a big earthquake in Bam, Iran, a big disaster. We designed this for the Muslim children of Iran, funded by the Buddhists from Taiwan, Chuchi Foundation, with, with us architects from the Philippines, Catholic Christian architects. I got an award in New York, 60th anniversary of the United Nations, for Ambassador of Goodwill, because the beneficiaries were Muslims, the funders were Buddhists, and I donated 70% of our architect's fee. So cross ventilation from the wind towers above. We got gold platinum LEED certification from the U.S. Green Building Council and the latest Asian Development Bank building. Next slide. It's a green building. We designed 18 buildings in King Abdallah Financial District in Saudi Arabia using the principles of green building, solar roof, green gardens, interconnecting walkways and motorways, and so on. So it's again the principles of green building. Next slide. And vertical urbanism. Vertical cities are more sustainable. Like Hong Kong, 71% of Hong Kong is open space. Open spaces are the lungs of the city. They improve our immune system. And people living in compact cities like Hong Kong live 3 years longer than other cities that are sprawling. Just like when we were in Harvard, we compared Los Angeles and Boston, Cambridge metropolitan area. There were more heart attacks and obesity in Los Angeles than Boston and Cambridge. Next slide. Yeah, mixed-use development. This was we master plan Rockwell Center Makati, and the architect of record for the first 5 towers. Mixed-use development, promoting walking, maximizing land values, promoting sharing of infrastructure, providing an attractive transition between land uses and buildings. And this is the future of urban housing, not those big mansions in the middle of the city, place to shop, dine, and retail on the first 2 floors, place to work on the 3rd and 4th floor, and above, place to live, 1 vertical transportation with public transit. Big homes, large family homes, the American Planning Association and the Harvard Gators Design, we were advised to share the large homes in the middle of the city, single family homes, have higher carbon footprint because they arrogate to themselves prime urban resources, preventing more families to live there closer places of work and encouraging more urban sprawl to encroach into the forests and the farms. So the big mansions, the big villas, they should be in the suburbs, not in the middle of the city. Just like the Donald Trumps, the Kennedys, the Clintons, the Rockefellers, when they are in Manhattan, they live in apartments. With their big homes, they are in Florida. Next slide. And this was Rockwell, the polluting power plant before we planned it and made it a mixed-use development, a 5-minute neighborhood. Everything you need, a place to live, work, shop, and dine, learn, and worship is within 5-minute walk, 400 meters, because in 1992, a survey was done. We Metro Manilans, we walk only 400 meters. Next slide, please. So, next slide. Naghang na. So, this is Rockwell today in the 5 towers that I'm architect of record. Next slide. So, those with less influence should have more in roads. It should be 1/3 for people, pedestrians and bicycles, 1/3 for trees and landscaping. It takes at least 10 trees to recover the oxygen out of the carbon monoxide per car, and only 1/3 for the moving traffic vehicles. Next slide. And there are 20 kinds of urban transport. Number 1 should be walking, then biking, then shared paratransit, and then different kinds of public transit. The last choice should be the automobile, the most inefficient mode of urban transport. Next slide. We have been proposing elevated walkways and bicycle lanes along EDSA, the 27 kilometers, because we cannot do the 1/3 for biking and walking, and 1/3 for trees and landscaping along EDSA. So I've been proposing, I was paid here by the Asian Development Bank, elevated walkways, the whole 27 kilometers of EDSA, because we design healthy cities. we adults should walk at least 7 kilometers or 10,000 steps a day. And I live and work in Makati. I walk before pandemic less than 2 kilometers a day. Next slide. So these are, if you have elevated walkways and so on, we can have more landscaping also along EDSA. Elevated walkways. This has been my dream since 1973, interconnecting the whole Philippines with bridges and tunnels. I was the first to propose the ongoing engineering studies now connecting Bataan and Calabarzon to bypass Metro Manila, interconnecting Central Luzon and Calabarzon to alleviate the traffic congestion in Metro Manila. Some of my proposals before are being implemented now. Next slide. The American Corps of Engineers, 1945, they proposed 6 circumferential roads. It's only now number 6 circumferential roads being built. I have been proposing 10 circumferential roads bypassing Metro Manila. And smart cities, integrating social, environmental, economic goals, use efficient processes, and investing in its people, technology, providing higher quality of its citizens, business, and more resilient, well-connected, sufficient, and socially inclusive. Smart cities, first it must have smart governance. Dubai is something close to my heart because I was named invited to help plan the desert town of Dubai in 1976. I reported to work in 1977. This is the creek that was dredged, and this is the creek, Dubai Creek today, center of trade and commerce, and navigable. So from a creek to a deep harbor, excavated. And Dubai then, just do quickly with this now, in 1977, this is the same place today. Excavated the desert to have more waterfront developments. Next slide. And Dubai then, that place, Exayed Road, and the same place today, where the tallest building in the world had been built. Burj Khalifa, 828 meters high. It's a vertical village, place to live, workshop, and dine, then worship. It's all there. Next slide. So World Trade Center then, and here the tall buildings and high rises. Next slide. And the wind towers of Dubai before oil was discovered. These are mud houses made of mud with wind tower. The World Trade Center then, the tallest building in the Middle East and North Africa. Next slide. Next slide. This is the tallest building in the world, Burj Khalifa. And Palm Island, Dubai has only 70 kilometers of waterfront. So they decided to do Palm Island to increase the waterfront. Postcards from the future. When we're not too busy, we take pictures of the uglification of our cities, and we do architectural design perspectives and urban design and send them to the mayors. Some of them appreciated it and they hired us, but some were not too happy about it. Next slide. So this is Pasig River today. We destroyed it, polluted it. This is Pasig River of the future. It's good that there's a generous soul, San Miguel, dredging Pasig River now make navigable. Estero San Miguel today, postcard of the future. The next slide can be like this. Next slide. So San Juan River, we planned San Juan to be a smart city of the future. Can be something like this. And Estero, Ermitaño Creek today for the urban poor. And it can be like this with green architecture, vertical vegetable gardens and roof gardens with a promenade along the creek. Next slide. And San Pedro, we did also among many cities, San Pedro Laguna, the street, make it more walkable, bikeable, and more landscaping. And Locos Norte, we're currently doing a tourism master plan, Locos Norte. We won the competition for that. So at present and future, the landing in Boracay Island. We made these proposals in 1991 and we were paid by the European community taxpayers. And it's only now they're implementing our plans. So Boracay then, and our proposal for the boat landing, so it looks like you're arriving into a tropical island. No uglification of the sign is Boracay, how it was damaged. It can be like this. Postcard from the future. Boracay, the interior road can be like this. They are now implementing these plans. The Boracay beach, there should, if you put concrete on the sand, you will destroy the sand because it took thousands of years for the sun, shifting sun, different wind directions at night, different in the morning. So even the elevated walkway, we elevated it so it doesn't touch the white sand. Not many people know this. They put concrete on the sand. Next slide. And Silburake. We just go quickly now here. Yeah. San Vicente, Palawan. We also won the planning competition here, and we got an award in the Royal Town Planning Institute of London, and cited as one of the top 8 best master plan projects in the whole world. We started planning this, the land value was 300 pesos per square meter. After our plans came out, 14,000 pesos per square meter. The downside of it is with that land value appreciation, the urban poor were priced out again. And we required 50 meters setback from the shoreline because of tsunami. We just don't have to protect the environment, we can enhance it. Mangroves, we put a wellness and spa above the mangroves. And for every mangrove that is damaged, you plant 1,000 mangroves. Next slide. And coconut mansions, indigenous architecture, and for jobs also for the indigenous people. This is a proposed 7-star tourist island, artisan village to teach livelihood also for the indigenous people, somewhere in Palawan. And Malcapuya, Coron, we did the planning, architecture, interior design, engineering. More light and ventilation. Even the furniture, we designed them. And again, recyclable, sustainable. Next slide. Even the interiors, you don't have to use air conditioning. Air conditioning has just been an option. Next slide. The same, cross ventilation, natural light. We go beyond architecture for business, trade and commerce, and government. Our advocacies at Palafox include architectural activism, architecture for humanity, faith, architecture for the poor, architecture for transportation, green architecture, democratic architecture, patriotic architecture, and philanthropic architecture. And this is a quotable quote I like so much from Daniel Burnham, who planned Manila in 1905. And his inspiration was Paris, boulevards of Paris, River Seine, Pasig River, and the Bay of Naples, Manila Bayfront. And he said in 1905 for planning Manila, make no little plans. They have no magic to stir men's blood. Make big plans, aim high in hope in work. Remember that a noble logical diagram, once recorded, will never die. But long after we are gone, will be a living thing asserting itself with ever-growing insistence, remembering that our sons and daughters are going to do things that would stagger us. Let your watchword be order and beacon beauty. And Burnham. And from Winston Churchill, never let a good crisis go away. During this crisis, we should unlearn the mistakes and correct them. We shape our buildings, and thereafter they shape us. And I say, we shape our environment, and our environment will shape us. Next slide. So I wrote this in my term paper in UP in 1973. Development is not worthy of the name unless spread evenly like butter on a piece of bread. Today they call it inclusionary zoning, inclusive growth. And in Boston, they call it anti-snub zoning. Even the poor should be included in the development. Next slide. So everything we do at Palafox, maybe because I'm a former SBD seminarian, pro Deo, patria et terra, for God, country, and planet Earth. And I think we would like to live in environment-friendly, master-planned, well-designed buildings and communities and cities that are smarter, more resilient, livable, connected, accessible, walkable, bikeable, safer, better lighted, more convenient, cleaner, with mixed income, cross-generational neighborhoods, mixed-use developments, integrating places to live, work, shop, and dine, learn, worship, with healthcare and wellness centers, recreation and leisure, with some 24-hour activity centers. So these best practices in the world, next slide, out of our more than 1,700 projects we've done in 40 countries, we selected 3 of them that, again, we were lucky to have won the design competition for these large-scale developments. In the 3D animation next. Can we have them now? First is Clark. Clark, we designed it, master planned it. It's urban planning, business planning, architectural conceptual studies for Clark. Clark is 4,000 hectares. That should be the next slide now. The next 3D. 4,000 hectares of Clark, 2,000 hectares of the airport, international airport. And just to compare it, Makati is less than 3,000 hectares. Clark is 4,000 hectares, the main zone. And NAIA is 600 hectares, the airport. And the airport in Clark is 2,000 hectares. So 4,000 hectares. Aerotropolis, airport Cleveland City. So can we play now the 3D animation? Clark Free Food Zone, 4,000 hectares. So interconnected with the rest of Luzon, railways, bus rapid transit, highways, expressways, interconnected with Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon. So multimodal transportation. We divided it into 7 districts: the North and Southern Gateway District, airport driven land uses. Then you have a smart city, technology city, industrial city, lifestyle district city, and so on. And all of these are just the theme of development, but they will all be mixed use, integrating places to live, workshop and dine, learn and worship, it's healthcare and so on. And this will be 15-minute city as well. 50 minutes, within 15 minutes walking to your destination from place to live and to work, 15-minute bicycle, 15-minute public transit. Lessons from Makati. Makati Central Business District, the daytime population is 11 times the nighttime population. So we had the problem of bringing in the 11 times population in the morning, bringing it up in the evening. And this is the gateway to Clark also. I hope we will be able to influence the architecture topology with roof gardens, rainwater harvesting, and solar roof, with mass transit, integrated development. This international airport, it will open in October. Target passenger arrivals is 8 million per year. And by 2030, I think it will be 80 million a year. We're designing other aerotropolis in Bulacan. The target arrivals is much more than that. Alfresco dining, we designed this before the pandemic. In the webinars that I've been asked to speak, restaurants should be 30% in kitchen, 20% enclosed air conditioned, and 50% outdoor alfresco, so you don't spread the virus. And in Fort Clark, again, lots of open spaces, the lands of the city, roof garden, solar roof, and so on. So the best practices in the world, as much practicable, we implemented them here. Not many people know there's a river cutting across Clark, so we took advantage of the amenity value of the riverfront development. You can see the lush green open spaces. This is the technological business park. Physical connectivities, walking, biking, public transit. We preserve the heritage buildings, and the tall buildings will be behind them. And Statsomberg Central Park and Civic Center. We maintain the parade grounds to be like the Central Park of Clark, social interaction area, a refugee center in case there are disasters, evacuation centers. So the lifestyle district, high-end district. So everything will be mixed use. They're just thin. Leisure district, the golf courses. The most recent golf course community there, we also designed it with the Korean investors. So we tried to unlearn the mistakes in Metro Manila. Better balance between place of work and place of residence. Better balance between the nighttime population and the daytime population. So this is a 4,000 hectare smart city, airport-driven city, technology city, Clark Freeport Zone. This is now they use this now as a marketing collateral, promoting our country for foreign direct investment. The next 3D is Pampanga. Again, we are very fortunate to have won the provincial plan for Pampanga, and I call it megalopolis. A megalopolis, several metropolis. A metropolis, several cities. And Pampanga is 3 times the size of Singapore, 2 times the size of Hong Kong. It can be a good urban growth center to decongest Metro Manila, countermagnet to Metro Manila. So we themed them again, but everything will be multi-use, mixed-use development. With agropolis, agro, the farm, polis, the city. With urban farming, suburban farming, kitchen garden, rooftop garden. Ecolopolis, environment friendly, ecology friendly environment. Aerotropolis, that's airport-driven city. Airport in the city, that's Clark and surroundings. And Aquapolis, the water in the city, Candaba swamps. And we put intermodal transit terminals, radial roads, circumferential roads, and even opening up the southern gateway to Subic. At the moment, the gateway to Subic is from Olongapo, only from the north. So stimulate development from the edge towns of Lubao, boundary with Subic. It's circumferential road because at the moment, Pampanga doesn't have circumferential road, so that the perimeter towns and cities, you have to get out of Pampanga to go back to Pampanga. And there's this yellow thing, now they call it Golden Triangle. Many developers are going, it's really more of the financial business district centers for Pampanga. So railways, bus rapid transit, highways, walking trails, footpath, and the roads again. Again, as much parking goal, we advise them 1/3 should be for trees and landscaping, 1/3 for people, pedestrians and bicycles, 1/3 for moving traffic lane. Intermodal transit terminal, a green building that we proposed, with solar roof, rainwater harvesting, roof garden, even the public market. I hope we can influence the architectural typology, more hygienic, with more cross ventilation and natural ventilation. Again, it's really preventing virus and disease. They're more hygienic, public health oriented market. So you can see here the rainwater harvesting on the roof with the solar roof. So it can reduce part of this energy requirement. It's not 100%. I hope they also buy articulated buses so you have more passengers per lane per hour. Yeah, the bus dedicated lane, 1976, we proposed it in EDSA, bus dedicated lanes, being done right now. And also for Pampanga, bus lanes in the inner lanes, again, the 1/3 for trees and landscaping, 1/3 for people, bicycles and walking, 1/3 for moving traffic lanes. The Tourist Information Center, we tried to be inspired by the indigenous architecture of Pampanga. I hope they implement this. When you see an architecture like this, you see it connotes the Tourist Information Center. If they were supposed to dredge Pampanga River, which was navigable during pre-Spanish and Spanish times, then if you dredge Pampanga River and Pasig River, it would only take to Manila Bay, 35 minutes to go to Pampanga by fast boats. The next one is a metropolitan area. Again, we're fortunate to have won this planning design competition sponsored by the Mindanao Development Authority with 8 LGUs in Metro Davao. Davao City, Tagum, Panabo, Digos, and 4 others. And again, I talk about progressive infrastructure. We started by creating a big airport, that's like what we propose in Dubai. big airport and big seaport, and change the paradigm of Mindanao as back door to the Philippines to front door to the Philippines. Because of the Celebes Sea, south of Mindanao, is becoming a very important navigational route, especially with our West Philippine Sea conflict with a superpower country. And it's now a better connectivity between West Philippine Sea, South China Sea, and Pacific Ocean. And then the Davao Gulf, like an open arms, welcoming big ships for trading to enter the Davao Gulf and make the most of the amenity value of waterfront. Lots of parks and open spaces, not just for social interaction, but also for our improve our immune system. The Davao Gulf is deeper than Manila Port. So it can become one of the largest ports in our country if developed properly and if our plans. I hope cruise tourism will come back by 2025, and they have enough space for the Davao Gulf for big cruise ships and marinas for yacht clubs. You can see all our plan. We did not forget the lungs of the city, inspired by cities like Singapore, 45% open space Singapore, excluding the roads. In Hong Kong, 71% open space, excluding the roads. In our country, by law, 30% open space include the roads, which is 22%. So by law, in our country, they require only 8% open space, which is very, very inadequate. So you can see again, the outdoor kiosks, adding more security by design, by having more eyes on the public realm, to encourage people to walk. Even the paving patterns were inspired by, I think, 11 or 13 indigenous people's tribe in Mindanao. The night market, instead of blocking Rojas Street across the Ateneo in Davao, we propose to elevate it. It can become a 24-hour night market. Lots of trees and so on. Urban renewal for Davao, Chinatown. Intermodal transit terminal, buses, jeepneys, bicycles, taxis, and hopefully interconnected with the Mindanao railway system. Again, inspired by the Mindanaoan architecture. Even for elevated walkways, there should be landscape, friendly for the differently able. Activate the entrances so that encourage people to walk, feel secure, even wheelchair ready, and landscape shaded. Some of our pedestrian bridges in Metro Manila are even flooded. The Davao Samal Bridge, most, if not all, our bridges in the Philippines are designed by contractors. They don't involve architects, urban designers, and planners. So we even put viewing decks, bicycle lanes, walking lanes, pedestrian lanes, and hopefully they'll put a monorail or light rail transit, and truck lanes, bus lanes, car lanes. Even the vertical clearance for the largest ship, not yet built, will be able to go underneath the bridge. So the principles again, connectivity. And if you have landmark bridge, they also become tourist destinations. And entrance to the bridge, we designed it like inspired by the wings of an eagle about to fly with the indigenous arts of Mindanao. I hope public works will follow our design, or the contractors will follow our design. So just like wings of an eagle about to fly with the indigenous arts. Thank you very much indeed for this opportunity to share. Thank you, SM Cares. Thank you, Global Peace Foundation. And thank you very much to the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Architect June Palafox Jr. That was truly insightful. And thank you also for creating designs that not only look after the economy, but nature and humanity as well. So, for those of you who want to share what you have learned from Architect June's talk via Twitter, don't forget to add the hashtags hashtag GYS 2021 and hashtag GYS takeaways along with those learning super important details to remember. And to our audience out there, this is now your chance to ask our speaker about his talk earlier. So do send us your questions and tweet us again with your hashtags hashtag GYS takeaway.
All right, Architect June, we have our first question here from Zoom. In the Philippines, which city do you think is a good example of being a sustainable city in the new normal?
In the Philippines, maybe the next city we're planning. Yeah, because sustainable, like if you go to spend 6 hours a day in traffic, going to work from your home, you're like an oil slug when you're 6 hours away from your family. If there's red tape and corruption in the internet, that's not a smart city. That's not sustainable, and so on. So we are at that. The next speaker actually is right together. Is the founder of the Philippine Green Digital Council. That's why we are championing, promoting stable cities and building. And elsewhere in the world, I would say the top 10 cities that I showed you. Singapore is always there, Tokyo, Osaka, uh, Vienna. Also, housing for the poor is being sustainable. During this pandemic, it really captures our conscience. And I think some of us are guilty, including me. The urban poor housing, 9 square meters per household. That's less than 2 square meters per person. Some of us live in 100, 200, 300, or maybe even 500 square meters per person in our large mansions and large condominiums. And as I wrote in my paper in 1973, term paper, development is not worthy of name and spread evenly like butter on a piece of bread. I call that the social equity of people's choice. Now it awakens us the big divide between the rich and poor. Because with this pandemic, I just recovered from COVID-19. I'm fully vaccinated by Sinovac, and yet I got infected. I spent 26 days in Makati Medical Center. And to address our cities, we should unlearn the mistakes now. So we should maintain our open spaces. In fact, I compare Metro Manila to human body, and the lungs of the cities, the parks and playgrounds, are the lungs of the cities. They are being reclassified, being sold, and built on. And the roads and arteries, the roads and waterways are the arteries of the city. The major activity centers, the central business districts, are the hearts of the city. So Metro Manila needs a heart transplant, a lung transfer, and a heart bypass. So that's how bad Metro Manila is. And Metro Manila used to be the pearl of the Orient Seas. Today, it's now an urban laboratory how not to develop a city. Very unfortunate. So it's an opportunity from this crisis. We should develop cities outside Metro Manila. The next 100 cities that I estimated we need before 2050. And thank you for that very much.
All right, thank you very much, Architect June. Now we are moving forward to our next question. Do cities or communities need to be urbanized to be sustainable?
Yeah, there should be balance. Just like I showed you Pampanga. Aerotropolis, airport legal city. Agropolis, the farm and the city. Suburban gardens, urban gardens, roof gardens, vertical vegetable gardens. Aquapolis, the water in the city. And what is that? Ecolopolis, environment-friendly cities. They're also the hilltop towns, acropolis, cities on a high ground. And those are the principles that we should have to help the city. 400 years before Christ, Hippocrates, uh, the Greek doctor said that our cities should have more loves of the cities. And then the Florence nurse Florence Nightingale. 1800s, she observed that patients in hospitals without windows, they don't heal well. But with windows, natural light ventilation, the patients heal faster. And Frederick Law Olmsted, the one who designed Central Park, New York, said that open spaces are the lungs of the city. And Le Corbusier, the famous French Swiss architect, said we should design our buildings like healthcare facilities. And to us architects, to make them more aesthetically pleasing, not look like hospitals. So this is an opportunity now to address the crisis. We can learn a lot of things. And for my presentation slides, you can share it to everyone.
Thank you so much, Architect Juno. And I do agree, we need more open spaces here in Metro Manila. We need more spaces to breathe. We always see buildings and cars, but we really need something to help us relax and de-stress. Our last question here is from Zoom. How does the government or the private sector plan to move forward with urban planning, or are there any pivoting with urban planning strategies given the challenges of the pandemic?
Yeah, 10% of our mayors are very good, really good. The 90%, they can be better. So let's help them to be better. And out of the 1,600, at least 160 of them are very good. And we have been putting forward plans and programs, architecturally designed, even if it's not required in our contract, to show them visually powerful. And there should also be citizen participation. Like in New York, Manhattan, there used to be greedy developers in the 1970s, but they have activists, citizens of New York, like Jacqueline Kennedy and Henry Kissinger. They shamed the greedy developers, and now developers in New York are very responsible. But in our country, there should be more citizen participation. And I spoke to the planning officer of an LGU why they allowed conversion of open spaces into sellable area. You know what I was told? Architect Palafox. That was not an urban planning decision. It was a political decision. And I believe, especially the youth, that we should be more participative and address corruption, criminality, and climate change. And if we do that, we should be in the top 16th economy of the world. God has blessed our country with so many blessings. And it's up for our citizens. If we just no action talk only, nothing will happen. Let's do something. And the youth, the millennials, you are the natives of the digital infrastructure. We baby boomers, we are the aliens. There's a big divide. With the digital infrastructure, you can influence people through social media. You can shame greedy developers, and corrupt LGUs, and let's also catch the good ones. We should admire the good examples. Those who plant trees, those who get more open spaces. If you look at the 1981 Metro Manila zoning ordinance, it has been violated many times. The original plan for Makati in 1948 by Colonel Joseph R. McMeekin, many of the open spaces have disappeared in all over Metro Manila because there are only very few of us practicing architectural activism, philanthropic architecture. Most architects are practicing only for architecture, trade and commerce and business, and for government. So, to me, as I tell my colleagues at Palafox, every line we draw, if you do a good job, we should think of the beneficiaries. If you do a lousy job, let's think of the sufferers. And we plan progress, design projects, develop opportunities for others. And, and you millennials, you young people are our future leaders. So by 2050, so the cities, that's one of the cities, we're designing 3 new cities right now, which we're implementing the best practices. I hope they'll be followed by the local governments and the developers. So by 2050, some of you will be, if you're 20 years old now, you will be 50 years old. You will be the leaders. I'm already 71 years old. I've been able to help 40 countries, and helping our country is the most challenging. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Architect June, and I hope that the Palafox will not get tired of helping our country in moving into a more sustainable world. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir and ma'am. Thank you.
There you go.
All right, there you have it. Once again, that was architect Felino June Palafox Jr. To all of you guys out there, hello. Are you still ready for our next speaker? Don't forget to share your takeaways on Twitter using the hashtags GYS2021 and hashtag GYS Takeaway. I'm sure all of you are just hungry to learn even further. So now, let us hear from another expert on this topic. He is currently the CEO of NEO, the largest owner, developer, and manager of office buildings in Bonifacio Global City. He is a long-time advocate for sustainability and has led his company to become one of the greenest companies in the country. Wow, super impressive. And in line with its deep commitment to sustainability, NEO has made a public commitment to be net zero and has the first office portfolio in Southeast Asia to achieve the healthy safety seal, or health safety seal rather. Its entire portfolio is also certified 5 stars under Verde, or the Building for Ecologically Responsive Design Excellence, the national voluntary green building rating tool of the country. He currently holds board positions with Urban Land Institute, WWF Philippines, Arise Philippines, YPO Philippines, and the Philippine Green Building Council. Everybody, let us please welcome Mr. Raymond Rufino.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to kick off today's session with this question that I hope we can all ask ourselves. What have we done? Our world is melting here. You see pictures of the glaciers that are steadily shrinking all across the northern and southern hemispheres. Our world is on fire. Wildfires and record temperatures are being experienced all around the globe as well. Our world is drowning, massive flooding from China to Germany. So these extreme weather events now affect everyone, everywhere. We are used to flooding here in the Philippines, but in Germany, extreme weather leads to drought, and that directly impacts our food supply. And droughts are not just an inconvenience. They put our food and our water at risk. And these extreme weather events are getting worse and worse. A winter storm in Texas brought down their entire power grid because the designers and operators of this grid never imagined a scenario where the state would be hit by a winter storm. You know, it used to be called climate change, this idea that the impact of human action on our world was so severe that we are literally altering the weather and the climate. But that wasn't enough. There was a call to do more. So it became a climate crisis that we were now faced with. This was a call for us to start to do more beyond just looking at climate change, but really trying to handle and tackle this crisis. But even that wasn't enough. We needed more urgency, so now it is a climate catastrophe. The brutal truth. Go back, please. Back, please. The brutal truth, the window for us to prevent this climate catastrophe is shrinking day by day. And this is what it feels like when we face this climate catastrophe. So my fellow anime fans will recognize this scene from the 7 Deadly Sins. And the climate catastrophe looks like an invincible and insurmountable force. But it isn't. I repeat, It is not invincible. It is not insurmountable. Who am I and what am I doing? So good afternoon again. My name is Raymond Rufino. I am a champion for sustainable buildings, cities, and communities. And my hope today is to make each of you out there watching a fellow champion. Even when I was very young, I was already concerned for the environment, but it's always just a personal concern for me. When I took my master's in real estate development in Columbia University in New York, one of our professors challenged us and said, you're all studying to be future developers, and the buildings you are going to build will last for 50, 75, maybe even luckily 100 years. You need to start thinking about the impact your buildings will leave on the environment, both now and in the future. And it was really an aha moment for me. When I returned home and joined our family real estate business, my father asked me, what do you want to focus on now that you're rejoining the family business? And I immediately said, sustainability. Fortunately, I got the full backing of the company and everyone in it to really make sustainability the new focus. NEO is now, after all of these many years of hard work and effort, one of the most sustainable real estate companies in the Philippines. And I truly believe that business can and should be a force of good. But aligning just my personal advocacy and my company advocacy or focus was not enough. I knew there was more to be done. So fortunately, I met other advocates like me. And in 2007, I helped co-found the Philippine Green Building Council. Today, the council is at the forefront of transformation of our local real estate towards sustainability. And I'd like to thank Architect June for a great presentation earlier. We are fellow advocates. He sits with me on the Philippine Green Building Council, and we work very hard to push green buildings in the country. And so, just to summarize this little story or journey, it started off with a personal concern or advocacy. Then I added that to our company, and our company became focused on sustainability. But then more than that, I started to get involved with the community. And when you add yourself, plus your company, plus your community, I think the powerful effect you have is now you can change an industry and really make an impact. And this is really what SDG 11 is all about. We need to together make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. It sounds big. It sounds like a very tough and difficult thing to do, but it is achievable. Let's get more specific and see how we go about and do that. So I believe in green net zero buildings. When I say we, I mean our company, all of the communities we're in, a lot of the other people we work with across the Philippine real estate sector also believe in green net zero buildings. This is for us the best way we can try and meet SDG 11 by focusing on these types of buildings. And I think Architect June mentioned this quite well. He explained a little bit about green and net zero buildings, but let me try to explain it in a very, very simple way when we try to think about green and net zero buildings. So green buildings are good for the planet because they try to minimize our impact on the environment. They're also good for the people. So the people who live, work, and play in green buildings are healthier, safer, and more productive, right? What is net zero? Net zero is focused on carbon. More carbon in the world means our global temperatures will continue to rise. If we can reduce the power we have in our buildings by conserving and optimizing and use renewable energy for whatever power we do need to use, then we're able to lower our carbon, and that helps us keep the temperatures across the globe from increasing. And if I have a personal advocacy and we're doing this for the industry, one of the things I always tell all of our team members in NEO is that we need to walk the talk. So our 7 office buildings in Bonifacio Global City are all green and net zero office buildings, because it has to start from example. We cannot ask people to do something if we don't take the first few steps ourselves. And so sometimes it's difficult to determine whether a building is green or net zero. So one of the things I'd like to encourage everyone today is to look for certification. So the Philippine Green Building Council certifies buildings. We have Verde, which is our nationally accepted voluntary green building rating tool, which we use to assess how green buildings are from a scale of 1 star, which is basic certification, to 5-star, which is best in class. Advancing Net Zero Philippines is the certification tool for net zero. We have 3 of our buildings already certified there. The balance are already undergoing certification. So our hope is at the end of the year, we will have complete certification both for Verde and Advancing Net Zero Energy in the portfolio. And so we talk about net zero, you cannot achieve net zero without using renewable energy. So back in 2013, we partnered with Aboitiz Power, and we were one of the first owners and developers of buildings to fully commit to use only renewable energy for our buildings. And so after 8 years, we continue to expand this partnership, and all of our buildings are now powered through a purchase power contract with the Macban Geothermal Energy Plant, which produces geothermal energy for us and other clients as well. One of the innovations we introduced was putting in electric vehicle car charging stations. So we are also the first developer to feature this in our buildings. We have one now for our tenants and also one for the public. And we did this because we believe that electric vehicles can help reduce the carbon footprint of transportation. But more than that, we coupled the electric vehicle charging facility with the fact that we also source our power through geothermal renewable energy. So now you have this very, very powerful idea where you can reduce carbon for vehicles by offering these in your buildings, but also by sourcing your power from geothermal renewable sources, you can also further reduce the carbon impact of those charging stations. So I think this is one of the projects we're so excited about and very happy that we were able to feature this. But there's so many things you can do when you talk about going green or becoming sustainable. Here you have amenities for biking, and you want to encourage people to bike to the vehicle. If they can take electric cars, that's kind of fine. If they can take bikes as an alternative modes of transport, that's also good. But then you have to think about amenities, like the picture you see above is the bike shower facility where people can change. If they bike to the office, they can change, take a shower before going up because no one wants to be sweaty when they enter the office. But you also have a lot of other things. You have green open spaces like the public park we have called Neo Park, or you have activities, right? So one of the activities we had, because I'm also active with WWF, is really trying to handle single-use plastic pollution. So we did a coastal cleanup together with our tenants, and we were able to clean up all the plastic that you see that's littering our environment. And so that was a very, very nice activity and program, because you can't just do physical things. You also need to do activities that engage your community, bring people together, and rally around the higher and more important cause. Even now during the pandemic, we have partnerships with like for example, City of Taguig, as we try to vaccinate all our different product lines. These are all different aspects of how all of these things can come together for green buildings. And in this pandemic, I think one of the things that we want to always get people to think about is that when we talk about green buildings, these are not just good for the environment, but good for people, right? And so, like I said earlier, if you go to a green building, your health and your safety is being taken care of by that building. So we were able to get this WELL Health and Safety rating because we were already doing a lot as green buildings. It was not so difficult for us to get this. And this is another seal or rating that gives people comfort that everything's been done, from the way that we sanitize the building to the way that the area is handled. All of these different procedures and protocols and interventions are in place to make sure that when you do come, your health and well-being is being taken care of. And our last focus area is really on resilience. So we are a pilot partner of the Building Resilience Index. And what we're hoping is with this rating tool to be able to rate all of our buildings on how resilient they are. So for example, 7 Neo, our 7th building, you're able to get an A+ rating, which means we are as resilient, the highest level of resiliency that you can achieve with a building. And because, as I mentioned, there's so many environmental factors, climate change factors, and so many threats now, We have to do what we can to reduce our impact, but we also have to prepare. We have to prepare ourselves for the eventual impact of all of these kinds of events and threats and disasters. So resilience is going to be very important, and is going to be a major focus for us moving forward. So I'd like all of you now to start asking yourselves, what are you doing? You personally. What is your family doing? Maybe what is your school doing? Even what is your company doing? And if they are all doing something for us to avert this climate crisis, this climate catastrophe, then I think that's a great opportunity for you to join that effort and support them. If they are not doing something, if your school, your company, your community is not yet doing something, maybe it's an opportunity for you as well to step up, be a champion, and take on this challenge, right? Because what's more important than what you were doing is really what will you do? What will you do starting today? What will you do tomorrow? Because our future actions will have to be much greater than the actions we've taken in the past. If we only repeat what we've been doing, we are not going to avert this climate catastrophe. Because there is no planet B. We only have just one. If we don't succeed, future generations are going to suffer. Our kids will suffer. The kids of our kids will suffer even more. And so today I want you to commit to be a champion. Whether it's planting a tree or any other action you can take, start with that commitment to be a champion. And then tomorrow, take action. So it starts with your commitment, and then it starts to go into action. Actions can be everything simple to the more complex. What matters is that you start taking those steps, whatever those steps may be. And the hope is, if we can all, take those steps and take those commitments together, we can start to see more green and net zero buildings all around the Philippines. This is my hope. This is my dream, that we will be able to achieve SDG 11 by having most, if not all, of our buildings as green and net zero in the future. I mean, all of us live in buildings, we work in buildings, we stay at buildings for leisure. Each time we do one of those things, we have an opportunity to try to push our buildings to become greener and more net zero. Climate catastrophe, not on our watch. At least hoping that after this talk this afternoon, you join me in also taking on this commitment to make sure that this climate catastrophe does not happen, and that we do our share as our generation looks to the next generation. And hopefully we can restore the balance of people and planet. We can live in harmony together. We just need to get our act together. We just need to work harder on finding that balance and restoring our togetherness with nature. It's up to each of us, not up to the government, not up to the NGOs, not up to the companies. They are all doing their share, but really up to each of us to take this challenge on. Because the future of our planet, our future, is really in our hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raymond Rufino, for that talk. I believe that it is just so beautiful that we have people like you and different organizations that make ways to take care of our environment. And thank you as well for shedding light on how we can personally take part and improve in lessening our carbon footprints and look after our planet. I believe that we have to take responsibility on the blessings that we have been given. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And thank
It's
you
really,
also
really
for those kind
inspiring.
words. Thank
It's
you.
really inspiring, sir. All right, so we now open the floor for questions and answers. A question and answer with Mr. Raymond Rufino. So please do send in your questions. And for those who want to share their learnings, send us a tweet using hashtag GYSTakeAway for a chance to win shopping vouchers from SM Cares and SM Supermalls and Nestle vouchers as well. All right, we have our first question here on the screen. Let's get right to it. What is the role of our youth to achieve a sustainable city, sir?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, like I mentioned earlier, many of our youth might think that they don't have power, that they don't have the role to play. But really, our youth, you are also powerful. You are all capable of influencing so many things. If, going back to one of the slides, if you think about your family, next time your family wants to buy a home, maybe you can tell your parents as simple as, maybe we should check if this building is a green building. Is this building going to be, is this condo green? Is this condo net zero? That's already a simple thing, because if condo developers say all of their clients are asking for green net zero buildings, guess what? We're going to have more green net zero condo buildings, right? So there's lots that everyone can do.
Yeah, that's a really great point, Mr. Raymond. And actually, we forget how much influence we have. It starts with, our family, the people we're surrounded with on a day-to-day basis. If we start something, then there will be a ripple effect. So you are correct in saying that. Thank you for that. So our next question for you from Zoom is, what are the different challenges that the youth encounter which hinders their potential in realizing SDG 11?
Again, I mentioned this earlier in my presentation. I think the biggest challenge for men is thinking that the climate catastrophe is too big a problem, that it's somebody else's problem. See, most people say, climate catastrophe, climate crisis, let the government deal with that. Let the NGOs deal with that.
Right.
Let the UN deal with that. But a lot of work is being done by all of these groups, these countries. Our government is doing a lot, but we cannot rely on other people anymore. The problem is so bad. The problem is so severe. Each of us, members of, whether you're young, whether you're middle-aged, whether you're old, we all need to start doing our share. And I think overcoming that mental stumbling block that it's somebody else's problem is probably the first step that we need to take in order for us to take ownership and then say, I'm going to commit to be a champion, and then I'm going to start taking action, starting today, starting tomorrow, do something already.
Wow, thank you so much, Sir Raymond. You know what? It's gonna sound cheesy. But I'd like to quote this one line from High School Musical because it really does show a lot of what you said. You said that we're all in this together. It's not just the big corporations. It's not just the government. It's not just NGOs, but every one of us has a role in, making this world a sustainable place to live in. So yeah, thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
All right. Our next question is from Joy over on Facebook. What advice can you give the students or youth to have a more sustainable community?
I think because I'm just coming from a real estate perspective, I think, and I know this is a big ask, but I think if you can demand more from our real estate owners and developers, right? So I mentioned earlier the case for condos. Next time you apply for a job, tell the person interviewing you, is the office in a green building? Is the office in a net zero building? Because maybe I don't want to work for the company if it's not, right? Next time you go out, choose a hotel room to stay. Ask the hotel owner or operator, is your hotel a green hotel? Is it a net zero resort? Because these kinds of questions, even if they're not that strong, you think, they send a signal. They send a signal to our industry. I've been trying to campaign for green buildings since 2007. And while we have a lot of momentum, there's still so many buildings out there that need to become green, that need to become net zero. And unfortunately, many of these owners and these managers, they listen first and foremost to the customer. So if you are a customer, then demand this from our real estate. And then hopefully the owners and developers will start to listen.
I'm personally convicted because that's not something that I did when I moved out and got this apartment. So that is very eye opening. So I hope that a lot of us are learning something from this, as simple as asking a question of whether this is a green building or not can make a huge impact. Thank you once again, Mr. Raymond Rufino.
Thank you.
There you go. And again, thank you so much for all of your questions. I see more questions on Facebook and on Zoom, and we'd love to ask all of these to Sir Raymond, but we have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff happening, for the next few hours. But yes, that concludes our first topic on sustainable cities and communities. Once again, please do continue and sending your questions and takeaways. Don't forget that you may win prizes more than just getting your questions and your, of course, your sharings showed on screen. You can also get a chance to win some vouchers from Nestlé and SM. So please don't forget to use the hashtag as well, GYS 2021. And speaking of using the hashtag, we are actually starting to trend on Twitter. So maraming salamat. Thank you so much for making hashtag GYS takeaway trend. And we hope that you guys continue to tweet that. But hey, also don't forget that you can also share your photos, your videos, and if you have any, if you want to take memories, even though this is virtual, go ahead and tweet that. Help us get to the top trending spot. And speaking of taking photos, why don't we, post our selfies now? Why don't we take photos now? We'll give you some time to take selfies with us. Micah and I will pose now. Ayan, let's pose a little bit.
Come on, guys, let's take selfies.
Ayan, take selfies with us. All right,
Come
don't
on,
forget
everybody.
to post it. I'm pretty sure they got in their photos already. But also, do not forget to download the SM Malls online app for a chance to win more shopping vouchers. It's nice how GYS provides us with so much learning and a chance to win something at the same time as well. And you will see it on the screen. So just scan that QR code so you can download it right now.
Yes, thank you, Cholo. I am super excited. And actually, at this point, we will be announcing the first batch of winners for the vouchers from SM, Supermalls, and Nestle as well. Winners were chosen based on their best takeaway tweets or of impactful lessons learned from our speakers from the different topics that we had for the first batch. All right, Cholo, let's do this.
All right, here we go. At this point, we will be announcing the first winners. Let's see who it is. We've got Andre Crisostomo. He said, this summit is a good platform for the youth to learn things about sustainable development and use these learnings to help their own communities in achieving a more sustainable society. Totoo yan.
Thank you so much, Andre, and congratulations to John Marg. He says, I think it's high time now that the youth should take action on the emerging problems that the world is facing. I think a lot of people have been so politically active on social media, but we forget that we also have to take part in it. Like, we can't just keep asking it to be done by different organizations, our government, and all that. Like, where do you fit into the picture? So thank you for that, John Mark.
All right, our next winner, our third winner, is Making Castro, saying sustainability is the new trend. Go green and go deeper. It is more than just bringing back to nature. Recalibrate your lifestyle, redesign your concepts, redirect your consumption and production. Youth must remember, it is never too late to start in simple ways.
Thank you, Making Castro. Our next winner is Marlon Padua. Sabi niya, the national government, especially the LGUs, must really work seriously, and us as well, on their comprehensive land use plan and local development plans to make sure that all communities are livable, resilient, and sustainable. Totally agree 100%.
Up next, winner number 5, we've got Clarito saying architecture, planning, and urban design well into the new world order. What a nice topic to achieve a better global new normal. Thank you, Global Youth Summit 2021.
Yes, thank you, Global Youth Summit 2021. And our next winner is Eileen. She says, true, the urbanization of cities comes to high cost, worsening our environmental conditions. You must be alarmed and must realize that it is time for us to act on it, as this issue will eventually affect every citizen. Thank you for this, and thank you to you, and congratulations to you, Eileen.
Up next is winner number 7. You got Yuli saying, youth today can, should, and must change the world. Youth can bring a new level of thinking to the most challenging problems in our world today. That is right. The youth has a voice. You must use it so that bigger players can hear what we want to happen.
Yes, we are the next generation of leaders after all. And our winner number 8 is Ria saying, making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable to live in is important as the world is continuously changing and improving.
Winner number 9, we've got Zyrene saying, watching GYS, it's a good platform for the youth now to be informed, participate, and share their thoughts regarding the situation of our community. Happy Youth International Day, or Happy International Youth Day.
And our last winner, congratulations to you, Primrose Everdeen. No, Primrose lang. Urban planning leads us to better solutions in the present and a better world to live in the future. Anong malay natin? Maybe a few years from now, we'll see one of the cities in our country on the top 10 cities in the world. Yes, amen, girl. I am claiming this. Congratulations.
And congratulations again to all of our winners. To claim your prize, please message SM Cares through the Viber number that you see flashed on your screen right now. So that's 0921-295-3753. Congratulations once again. And later on, we're going to be choosing more takeaways so that we can give away more prizes to everyone. And plus, we're also giving away phones later on at the end of the show, so do not miss that one. But now we move on to the second topic for today, which is about zero hunger. Achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Now, despite rapid economic growth and increased agricultural activities, a lot of people are still struggling to have a nutritious meal each day. There is enough food to feed each one of us only if we rethink how we grow, share, and consume our food. Now, SDG 2 aims to end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. This goal firmly believes that together we can end all forms of hunger and malnutrition, that all children and the most vulnerable will no longer have a hard time securing sufficient and nutritious food all year round.
Our first speaker on this topic is Nestlé Philippines Head of Corporate Affairs and Communications. She spearheads public affairs, including government and industry relations, corporate communications, and leads the sustainability and creating shared value initiatives of Nestlé Philippines. Prior to this, she was the business unit head of Nestlé Infant Nutrition in the country. She started her career in Nestlé as a management trainee, or an MT, and took on roles in sales and brand management. Her assignments have included stints in the Greater China region, China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Wow. And the Nestlé headquarters in Vevey, I hope I said that correctly, Switzerland. She has also managed the Nestlé Health Science business and was the chief innovation officer for the company in the Philippines. To talk to us about how to eat an elephant, a talk on tackling nutrition and sustainability, let us welcome Miss Arlene Tan Bantoto.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. Magandang hapon po. I hope everyone is keeping safe, especially during this time. I'd like to thank the Global Youth Summit for this opportunity to share about what we do in Nestlé. I hope I can count on you today to share your experience as we make this segment as interactive as possible. I will be asking questions and you can reply via the chat function. We are in the middle of a pandemic. We also constantly worry about the world's problems, and I think everyone here today has felt a sense of anxiety, a feeling of being so overwhelmed with the greatness of all of the world's issues. So just a quick show of hands, or in this case, in the chat box, type me, M-E, if you have been feeling overwhelmed and anxious lately. So you can just type on the chat box if you are feeling anxious or overwhelmed lately. Okay, so we have a couple who type me, and that also includes myself. I don't blame you. We do have a lot going on. If we look at the state of our environment, what keeps me at night is the fact that because of climate change, sea levels can rise and our houses, both yours and mine, can be submerged underwater. We are on an island and we are definitely going to be the first to go. Because of climate change, we could have another Yolanda. On top of that, our rivers are polluted with trash, and the Philippines is at the moment the third top polluter of plastics in the ocean. This means we can have more plastics than fish by 2050. My two kids are close to your age, and I'm worried because I know that this can all happen in their lifetime. The feeling of helplessness usually happens when we think to ourselves and we have to figure everything out all at once. And as the future of the country and the world, I know you are burdened with all these issues. And the answer is, we don't really have to figure it out all at once. In fact, sometimes small steps can get us further along. As the popular African proverb goes, how do you eat an elephant? The answer is one bite at a time. There are many little things we can do that can have a positive impact to the world. The first thing we can do is to be in the know or be informed. When it comes to the environment and when it comes to being environment friendly, being in the know is learning about what your options are and how you can, in your own way, live better so you don't harm the environment. Nestlé really believes that a big part of solving our environmental problems like climate change and plastic waste is education. If this is something of interest to you, you can start learning about climate change and about plastic waste. And for example, you can start learning about segregation and other waste reduction tips. We have developed modules endorsed by the National Solid Waste Management Commission that can give you more information about what to do with your waste. We've also implemented this in schools as well. You can download copies of these modules in our website, nestle.com.ph. Now let me ask you a question. Which trash can do you put a used pizza box in? Type R, letter R, if your answer is the residual bin. So this means all the trash where you put and it ends up in the landfill. Or type letter B for boy if it is biodegradable. And this is the trash bin where you put items that are biodegradable. So can you type B or R? So B is for biodegradable and R is for residual. Okay, so most people type B for biodegradable. So I'm sorry, but the answer is residual. Because contaminated paper, like a paper box that has oil on it because of pizza, it cannot be further recycled. So you see, knowing more about best practices for the environment will help us to live more sustainably. Another thing we can do is to stop plastics from ending up in nature. We wanted to do this in Nestlé, so we made a commitment to take back the equivalent amount of plastics we put out there in the market. We are the first and so far the only multinational of this size to collect all the waste we put out, all 27 million kilograms of plastics. And to give an idea, this is equivalent to 2,700 dump trucks for 1 year. We collect plastics through our partners, and we don't just collect Nestlé consumer waste, but all soft plastics that is equivalent to what we produce. This is what we mean by plastic neutrality. We take back the plastic we produce. Being neutral is the first step. We believe anyone can strive to be plastic neutral too, not just from a corporate level, but on an individual level as well. At home, we separate our soft plastic waste and take them to collection points, so I am assured that none of the plastics I use will end up as litter or in landfill. You can find a list of plastic collection points we consolidated on our website. So again, our interactive part, please type Y if you know of at least one collection point in the Philippines or in Metro Manila. Type Y for yes if you know of one collection point. Okay, so some people already typed Y. That's very good. So if you are familiar with a plastic collection point, can you please help us in Nestlé? Because we are currently doing a crowdsourcing activity to put a list of all plastic collection points across the country. When we have all the information, we can do more positive actions as citizens of the country. So please tune in to our Nestlé Facebook page and Rappler pages to find out how you can be of help. This should come out sometime next week. Third, it is equally important to reduce plastic waste wherever we can. We do have an addiction to plastic, especially for myself when I do online shopping. But now, knowing more, because I know that whatever plastic I throw, it can end up in landfill or in the ocean. So what we do is when we receive our packages, we don't throw the plastic but segregate it again. Another way to reduce plastic is to buy in bulk or upsizing, because buying in bulk uses less plastic, or you can also buy products that are in reusable or recyclable packaging. For Nestlé, we looked at our product lines and tried to look for opportunities for reduction. Last year, I'm very happy and proud to share that we are the first company to move into paper straws. So every time you drink Chucky, Bear Brand, Nescafe, and Milo, remember you are saving the environment by using plastic straws. In fact, we saved 600 million plastic straws, which may end up in the oceans when we move to paper straws. Another you can do is to buy local, because buying local means the product traveled a shorter distance to get to you, which means less greenhouse gas emissions. The Nescafe you drink is sourced locally from our coffee farmers in the Philippines. We are the biggest coffee manufacturer that buys local beans and produces locally. We train farmers to improve their yield, but at the same time, teach them farming practices that protect the environment. Lastly, you can aim to be carbon neutral or even regenerative. Everything we do has a carbon footprint. At Nestlé, we computed for our carbon footprint and identified steps to lower this. You can do this too. Calculate your carbon footprint by downloading carbon calculators and find out how you can be regenerative and live a lower emission lifestyle. There are multiple carbon calculators online, and it's something you can already do after this talk. So please remember, be in the know or be informed. Stop plastic from ending up in nature via proper waste disposal. Reduce plastic use. Buy local and aim to be carbon neutral or even regenerative. Doing these bite-sized efforts will lessen our anxiety as we put into action all these actions which collectively can help Mother Nature, one bite at a time. Lessening our carbon footprint is very crucial as climate change poses a big threat to food security and world hunger. If you've been reading the news lately, there are floods in Asia and fires in Europe, and we cannot deny it's all linked to climate change. Which brings us to another problem we face, nutrition and hunger. Did you know that 85% of the people in the Philippines are physically inactive? On the other side of the coin, you have 62% of Filipino households who are food insecure, especially now during the pandemic. 27% of children are stunted, and an overwhelming number lack vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, calcium, and B vitamins in their diets. It is very clear that we have a big health issue to tackle. Again, the problem is so huge. How do you tackle the nutrition problems we face? How do we eat this elephant? And as I said earlier, we do this one step and one bite at a time. It always again starts with awareness and being in the know. At Nestlé, we believe in the youth and starting with a good foundation in life. That's why, together with DepEd, we have the Nestlé Wellness Campus program. On our 9th year, we reach around 11.1 million children and teach them seven healthy habits such as the Pinggang Pinoy, proper hygiene, and more recently, proper waste disposal. It is important for you to also seek out a better understanding on the basics of nutrition and how you can consciously apply your learnings in your daily life. So another quick question. Type Y for yes if you check the label or the nutrition panel of the products you buy. And type N for no if you don't. Let's see. So type Y for yes if you read the label before you buy a product, and N for no if you don't. Okay, so I think our viewers today are quite the opposite of what's happening in the Philippines. Because actually, did you know that 80% of our consumers only read the expiration date and only a small fraction read the nutrients facts? So in fact, all those who type Y, you are in the small minority. And I hope this will grow because really it's important to know what you are buying. So congratulations. Another thing we need to do is to find your balance in your diet. In Nestlé, we believe in balance, moderation, and a variety. So we offer a range of products from chocolates to milk, products that every generation can consume. We make it a point to reduce the amount of sugar and sodium in our products while still being delicious. Nestlé has reduced table sugar by more than 9.3% in our product line since 2017. And we have also removed all industrially produced trans fat since 2014. So let's not punish ourselves by going on a crash diet. Please eat in moderation, find balance in your diet to live a healthy life. You can check out our recipes at Maggi and Nestlé All-Purpose Cream online. Maggi, for instance, has Nutri information for all ingredients and has the Menu IQ Plus to give you a nutrition score to evaluate quality of meal and suggest what to partner to make it complete. So talk about artificial intelligence. Lastly, it is always important to choose the right food for you. Look for food that will give you extra benefit and food that will give you the nutrients your body specifically needs. I mentioned earlier that a lot of Filipinos are deficient in micronutrients. But mind you, this is not only true for SECDE or those who are really in the poor sector of our country because in fact, obesity is also on the rise. So being obese doesn't mean you are healthy because you can have hidden hunger, which also means a lack of micronutrients. Nestlé is a food and beverage company and we offer products that you consume. But a little less known fact is that we are an effective delivery system of micronutrients to people who have deficiencies. Did you know that in 2020, we served 25 billion fortified food and beverages to the Filipino consumers? We made sure that our products contain key nutrients including vitamin A, iron, zinc, and iodine, which I mentioned earlier are commonly lacking in the diet of Filipinos. We also serve 1.4 billion liters of milk, which delivers calcium, protein, vitamins, and minerals. So go ahead, add that Maggi Magic Sarap to enhance your food and get the extra iodine. Drink that Chucky. And I know now that even the people watching this program are more than 12 years old. And like me, I still love Chucky. And with Chucky, you get not only calcium, but also vitamin D because you need D to absorb the calcium. Take that Bear Brand Adult Plus for extra T-Buy from zinc, iron, and vitamin C. So remember, for nutrition, be in the know. Find your balance and choose the right food for you. At the end of the day, the problems we still have seem to be very large. But we need not lose hope because we can find comfort in knowing that any small thing we can do will still be important. We do not have to do it perfectly. In fact, Mark Twain once said, continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. We know the world's problems are large, but if we all do things together, we are larger than the problems of the world. It all starts with us. Change will not come if we wait for other people to do it or if we wait for some other group or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change we seek, as President Obama said. So let's start within us. Let's start small. Let's eat the elephant one bite at a time. Let's do more together and be a kasambuhay or kasama sa buhay for the Philippines, for the environment, and for our kalusugan. On our 110th year in the Philippines, Nestlé has continued to work hard to be a nutrition, health, and wellness company, not just for this generation, but for the coming generations as well. We have continuously worked with our farmers, fortified our products for the Filipinos with nutritionists, and pioneered in sustainability efforts. These are major milestones, but we know there is more to be done, and we would like to do this with our employees, our consumers, our stakeholders, and especially with all of you, the youth, because together we can do more. Thank you for your time, and I wish you all an inspired day.
Thank you so much for such an eye-opening talk, Miss Arlene. And may I just say that I too love Chucky and I love using Maggie Magic setup, especially when I cook eggs. Anyway, going back, truly something as simple as staying informed, buying local, reducing the use of plastics, and even segregating our trash at home is a step and a discipline to help our planet. And on the other hand, nutrition wise, like what you mentioned, it's vital to know what we are buying and be conscious of the ingredients of what we purchase, along with their benefits to ensure that we are intaking quality foods and substances. So thank you, Miss Arlene.
Thank you.
Actually, I still can't get over the fact that pizza boxes should be in the residual. I answered B as well,
Dude,
so
I
that's a
can't.
good,
Yes.
diba? So that's a good, good lesson for us today. No, other than everything that we learned from you. But now we move on to the question and answer with Miss Arlene, and we would also hope that we hope that you guys have already prepared your questions. And for those who may not be accommodated today, you can still share your learnings by tweeting or sending us your hashtag GYSTakeAway. But do not forget to use the hashtag as well, GYS2021. We have our first question here on the screen. Ms. Arlene, can you suggest meal plans for a week or two that would be cost efficient yet healthy?
Okay, so instead of giving you 42 recipes, what I'll do is to give you the 5 P's of nutrition. 5 P's, huh? So number 1, plan your meal ahead so you can save and use fresh ingredients. Remember, the local, the better, right? Kasi it's a shorter transport time and less greenhouse gas emissions. Next is purchase local ingredients that are in season. We're so lucky because we have all these fruits and vegetables that are so delicious, diba? And they are cheaper and of best quality, not frozen or not ridden with chemicals. Next is to paint your plate. So the more colorful, the better. Fill half of your plate with fruits and vegetables. Alam ko hindi tayo sanay as Pinoys, right? It's more meat and more rice. But actually, half of your plate must be fruits and vegetables because the more color, the more nutrients. Number 4, plenty of fluids and a glass of milk every day. We're so busy sometimes online, looking at the computer or gadgets, we forget to drink water because we don't want to go to the toilet or nafo-FOMO tayo, diba? For the youth, you don't want to miss out. So please drink at least 8 glasses of water. And number 5, very important, portion control. Sometimes we get too excited. It's okay to eat chocolates, junk food, but don't eat too much, diba? Everything in moderation. So that's the 5 P's of nutrition.
Thank you, Miss Arlene. You know, mas okay nang ma-FOMO as long as we're taking care of ourselves and our health, right? And our next question, do you have any nutrition or health tips that we can do at home?
Okay, health tips. So I mentioned our Nestlé Wellness Campus. Part of that is our Nestlé Dancercise. You can find it in YouTube. So dancing is something that everybody can do, even if you have 2 left feet, diba? So dancing, walking, if you have a pet, play with your pet. If you have kids or siblings or friends. So really walk and exercise because it's good not only for your body, but for your brain. Now for nutrition, I already mentioned, always eat something extra. Not all food are created equal. So don't be fooled. You know, sometimes you think this is healthy, but it's not really healthy. And eat in moderation.
Ayan. Thank you so much for that. Totoo yan, no? Tayo mga Pinoy, hindi lang tayo singers, dancers din tayo. And, you know, it's better, we're better dancers if no one's looking. So, I guess, ay makakatulong yung mga ganyang klaseng mga programs, no? Para we can still be active without being too conscious about the people around us. Thank you so much, Miss Arlene Tan Bantoto.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. We have another question pala here on our screen.
Okay.
How else do you think we can do more together?
Okay. So one is all about the planet. I already mentioned it. So really get more information about nutrition and the planet because they're really interconnected. You will be surprised how many more people, both young and old, are not familiar with what they can do. Kasi people always think, nako, environment, it's so difficult. They don't know anything. Or nutrition, it's okay. I'm resigned to the fact that I will be obese or I'll have high blood pressure, etc. But there's really a lot of things we can do. And for the youth, you know, as a child, my values were formed by what happened in my household, right, with my parents. But I think the youth now are more empowered because even my son, who's only 14, you know, he tells me what to do or he tells me new things, and I'm really, you know, my eyes are open to reality and oh nga pala, I have to do this. So for the youth watching today, don't think that you're too young or you're you know, because you rely on your parents that you can't tell them what to do. I mean, I think you can inform them, give them the proper information so that they can help the environment and also help them with their nutrition. So read up, get information from the right sources, very important. No crash diets, right? And help out. Now for poverty, I think we all know now and during the pandemic that hunger is, you know, the hunger index is quite high. In fact, we're celebrating our 110th year. So instead of having a big birthday bash for Nestle, we are donating to 110 LGUs because I know that there are of our countrymen who are hungry today. Now, for you at home watching, so perhaps you can donate in your nearest charity. Share what you have. I think today we have to really share and be more conscious of what's happening around us.
Thank you so much, Miss Arlene. And thank you for encouraging everybody to share what they have, especially if they are on the privileged side of the spectrum. I believe that because of this pandemic, over 27 million Filipinos have gone hungry. So again, thank you for everything that you continue to do within your family and along with the Nestle team to ensure that many people are eating, especially during this time, and not just eating, but eating healthily. Miss Arlene Tan Bantoto, everybody, I hope all of you learned a bunch from her. I'm sure I did. And to all of you, you may still keep on sharing your hashtag GYS takeaways from Miss Arlene. Thank you once again, Miss Arlene from Nestle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Ayan. And thank you so much also for the questions and your takeaways. And again, later on, we're going to be choosing more winners to win vouchers from SM and, of course, from Nestle. But before that, I know you guys have information overload already. We've gotten so much information, so many great learnings from our speakers. So why don't we exercise a bit? Galaw-galaw tayo. Shake your hands. Ayan.
Shake your hands. Let's stretch, right?
Ayan.
Let's
Diba?
stretch.
Ayan.
If you have
Up, down.
space.
Wag lang tayo tatayo.
Okay.
Let's not stand up na lang.
Yeah, you know what? Zumba class. Zumba class a little.
Why not? Why not? All right, I think you guys are all stretched up already. But again, do not forget that we are still trying to get on top of the trending list. So please do not stop sharing your takeaways and as well as using the hashtag GYS2021. Now we move on to our next speaker for Zero Hunger, and he is the owner of Localroots Agricultural Farming and Services at Sariaya, Quezon. He graduated from the University of Santo Tomas BS Entrepreneurship and took an NC2 in University of Santo Tomas, an NC2 in Organic Agriculture and Agro Entrepreneurship. He started farming at the age of 22 and has been farming for 5 years now. He uses integrated farming and local technology such as soil sensor from Phil Rice liquid planting and local technology such as soil setter from Phil Rice liquid plant food, or of Ed Panging Bayan. Ayan, grafted seedlings and drip technology. Now he teaches and inspires young people about the importance of farming. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, let's give it up for Mr. Leo Manuel Casaclang.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leo Manuel C. Casaclang. I'm a farmer and owner of Localroots Agricultural Farming and Services here in Sariaya, Quezon. I would like to say thank you for inviting me here at this event to share my story with you guys. So, a little background about myself. I am an NC2 holder for organic production and agri-entrepreneurship. I'm also part of the ATI learning site for agriculture, and I am part of Sariaya Organic Producers Association, or SOPA, and one of the members of Agricultural and Fishery Youthpreneur Council. So let's start how my farming journey started. So it all started back in high school. Back then, I really didn't know what I want to take up for college. We had those career tests where they would give you results where you would excel best. My top two was agriculture, then business. Back then, I wasn't really interested in farming, so I decided to go for business instead. But during my third year high school, I remembered about our farm in Quezon, and I came to a realization of why not agriculture. So I took up BS Entrepreneurship in UST during my college years, and to learn about the business side of farming. And throughout the years in college, we had farm immersions where I learned about organic agriculture and GAP, or good agricultural practices. And there, it really hit me that I really wanted to pursue agribusiness. So after graduating, I had a dilemma where should I go get a job first to get more capital or just start farming? So what happened was, why not start now? There aren't many young farmers today. So I think it would be advantage to be in the agricultural sector while I'm young. So I went and used half of my graduation money to get into TESDA to learn about organic agriculture, and in one of the farms that we went back into college. I learned about the basics of planting seeds, taking care of a plant, and most importantly, how to make your own organic fertilizers. So I went back to our farm after completing the TESDA course because I wanted to share what I learned to the farmers there. When I presented my learnings to the farmers, they were very skeptical on the organic farming and good agricultural practices because it was their first time hearing about it. They have been farming long before I was born, and their practices what worked for them. So I understood their perspective. So what I did was for them to see the benefits of organic farming was that I let them plant pechay, the organic practice and their conventional way. after a month, the farmers gave me the result. Mine was bigger and greener than the conventional way. With that, their eyes were slowly uh, opened to the organic organic practices and the GAP practices. So uh, after that is that I started small, testing out what I learned in Testa. And on my first harvest, I was able to produce 3 kilos of lettuce. At that time, I still had no market, so I sold it to my friends and families to get their feedback on what I need to improve on. And yeah, so this is the picture of me graduating in Testa on the left side. The middle one is the pechay that were harvested in organic practice, and the last picture was me harvesting my first lettuce, my first produce. From there, I slowly grew my planting area. From, as you can see in the picture, it started from nothing until we slowly uh, uh, grew my planting area. So this is to be able to cater to possible markets wherein I could sell by bulk or by a ton per harvest cycle. Even though I was already starting my agribusiness, I did not stop learning. So I again went to TESDA and got another NC for agro entrepreneurship and went to other trainings as well. Finally, in 2019, I established Localroots with the help of my family. So Localroots is a 20-hectare integrated farm located beside the National Highway in Sariaya, Quezon, and it is a ATI learning site. This is me with Richard, one of the farmers here in Localroots. So here in Localroots, we produce different kinds of vegetables such as ampalaya, sitaw, lettuce, cucumbers, and fruits like mangoes and dragon fruits. We also have different animals in the farm, such as chicks, sheep, cows, pigs, and many more. So Localroots' vision is to be a model for farms of the future. It aims how to be diversified in terms of enterprises to generate various income. Our mission is to shorten the farm-to-table value chain and to organize learning events for various sectors to showcase the application of the latest agricultural and food technologies. The importance of farm to table. Before the pandemic, I personally delivered the vegetables in Metro Manila. So I would post our produce in social media, mostly on Facebook, then get their orders from there. We usually deliver the vegetables after the harvest or just the day after, depending on what type of vegetable it is. Then I would go office to office to deliver and sell my vegetables. So on the left side, these are the people who usually buy from me. So as you can see, I was selling Baguio beans, and on the right is another office that I sold to after. So there are many benefits from shortening the farm to table. So one is the consumers get delicious and fresh produce. It also helps the environment because of the shorter transportation, less gas is used. And it is very economical for the farmers, for us, because the money would be directly given to us. There won't be no middleman. And another reason what I wanted to deliver directly to consumers is to know thy farmer. I would like to ask the people right now if do you know who grows your food, where your food comes from, and how are they taken care of? With advocating from farm to table, we benefit both me and the consumers benefits by first the consumer know their farmer. They know they could ask me directly how the plant was taken care of, things that you could do with the vegetables, And for me, I could share them what's the next harvest, uh, for the next harvest. And with this, as a farmer and consumer, we can learn from each other. And with the farm to table, making farm to table a sustainable way in strengthening agriculture. So now the importance of you guys in agriculture. So the farmers here in our country are getting older and older, and few are replacing them. I hope we are all aware here how much our farmers need the youth, you guys, today, in lifting our agriculture for future and longer generations. It is sad to see that there is little to no interest in agriculture in the agricultural sector, while this sector is the one that provides our food in our tables every day. I hope this could be a wake-up call that agriculture is important. Youth today can help our farmers in strengthening our agriculture in many ways. On my experience and in my effort, the best way to encourage you guys is to experience what it's like in the farm. In 2019, I was contacted by the Philippine Science High School in Quezon City to do a farm immersions for the grades 11 and 12 students. I immediately said yes because this is again the best way uh, to show youth the agriculture side. So on the picture, this is the first batch of the Philippine Science High School students. So for 3 days, they learned and experienced what it's like to be in a farm. So they planted seeds, they made their own fertilizers, and even waking up at 4 a.m. in helping in harvesting sitaw. So we had a second batch that stayed for 5 days, and on their last day, they had to make their own lunch. So they had to capture a chicken, learn how to properly cook it, clean it, cook it, get different vegetables, and create their own dish. This is to make them appreciate where food comes from. And I guess my mission was achieved after learning. One of the students took up agricultural and biosystem engineering in UPLB. So it's really touching for me. So they also learned how to use old and new tools in tilling the land, using carabaos and using a hand tractor. And here is a picture of them on the upper left at 4 a.m. harvesting sitaw. On the lower left, their lunch. And yeah, on the right side, letting them use the farm tools here in the farm. So before I end my story, do you guys know the saying, "Give a man a fish, you feed him today"? So I wanted to change that a bit in an agricultural sense, that give a man a crop or a vegetable or something that comes from the farm, you feed him for a day. But teach him how to farm, you feed him for a lifetime. And even probably feed the world, right? There's a bigger future ahead of local roots, and this is just the beginning. I hope local roots can be a part of the transition to a farm to table consumption or be a learning guide, especially to the youth in strengthening in our agricultural sector. I hope I was able to impart enough knowledge from my journey to building an agribusiness, the importance of farm to table consumption, and the importance of you guys here in agriculture. Again, thank you for taking time to listen to my session.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. What a wonderful presentation. You know what? I love that you are, trying to help our local farmers here in, of course, the Philippines. And I do love the fact also that you said na we should know where our food is coming from, Not only is it healthier that way, but at the same time, we get to support, again, our local farmers. We get to support our economy, our local economy as well. So this is really nice. And I love that you are also encouraging people to experience the farming life, so that they learn for themselves and they pass the learning to future generations as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, and to our audience, we now go to the question and answer portion with Mr. Leo Casaclang. Please send in your questions. We would love to know what you've taken away from his talk lately and basically this entire summit. Just keep on tweeting, keep on making us trend using our hashtags, hashtag GYS 2021 and hashtag GYS Takeaway. All right, we are going to start with our first question for Mr. Leo. So it says here from Zoom, what is the impact of COVID-19 to the food security of the country?
Okay, in our experience, COVID-19 brought negative impact on food security. One, it led to the first lockdown, where it that cut off the food supplies from the consumers. Because of the lockdown, we had no transport because of nobody was allowed to go outside, and even the buyers. We were supposed to supply a restaurant in Metro Manila, but because of the lockdown, it was closed. Thus, we had the situation where we had to choose in throwing or giving away the produce. This led to our farmers becoming discouraged to producing food because they know that there were no buyers. So what we did was to donate the supposed deliveries of vegetables in Manila to our local hospital in our support to our other frontliners.
That's amazing. That is amazing and heartwarming to hear. Instead of just putting it to waste, letting it just rot there, you thought about donating it to frontliners who are now really the modern day heroes of our country and of the world. So thank you so much for that. We have another question here off of Zoom. What are ways to avoid food wastage?
Okay, that is a very good question. There are many ways to combat food wastage. No, in our part, better programming of supply and demand. I think everybody saw uh, the pictures before that farmers were throwing away tons and tons of tomatoes on the side of the road. That actually made me sad because a way to for us not to have food wastage is better programming by planting proper scheduling so that the supply and demand would balance, right? Another is development of infrastructure, having cold storage, grain silos, and processing plants. This would help farmers uh, use the excess produce that they have for longer periods of time. Again, food processing, turning raw materials into a value-added products. Those tomatoes could have been tomato sauce, and for example, coconut shells can be active charcoal, or even um, uh, many more. No, what we need is the youth, their uh, imagination to create more food processing for us in agriculture.
Thank you for shedding light on that, Mr. Leo. And might I add, I think even for us, the viewers, as the consumers mostly, right? I think we should just simply meal plan and also like not waste whatever is in our refrigerator. So when we're in the grocery or anywhere where we buy our produce, I think it is just vital that we buy what we need and we make sure that we will use all of it. Because I noticed that sometimes we let, like, let's say, for example, our vegetables and fruits just rot in our refrigerator, and then we just end up throwing all of them, which is such a waste when we could have used it or we could have just given it away. Once again, thank you very much to you, Mr. Leo. You have truly given much insight to all of our viewers today. Everyone, Mr. Leo Manuel Casaclang.
Thank you for having me.
Ayan, and that concludes our second topic on zero hunger. And at this point, now we would also be announcing the next batch of winners for vouchers in SM Supermalls and Nestlé, right?
Yes, that is right. Winners were chosen based on their best takeaway tweets of impactful lessons learned from our speakers from the first topic and even the second topic right now. So, guys, keep on tweeting, keep on sending in those takeaways using our hashtags for today. Please feel free to take photos along with us, your hosts, and tag us on Twitter. Keep us trending just so we can get the ball rolling and have more people talk about the very important topics that we are tackling on this summit.
All right, and now we will be starting the announcement of the second batch of winners of SMGCs from SM Cares. Winners were chosen based on their best takeaway tweets of impactful lessons learned from our speakers from the first session. So here we go. Our first winner is Chris. He said, sustainable cities is only achievable if we all take part of the challenge. You may think climate change is too big of a problem, but we are more than what we think we are capable of. It's true.
And our winner number 2 is Rico de la Cruz. Rico says, I used to live in the province in an agricultural area. I believe that food sustainability should be at the forefront of our country's development efforts. For this is where we get our energy and nutrition to work hard. Thank you, GYS, and congratulations to you, Rico.
Winner number 3 is Alian Hilyumhan. Wow, ganda naman ng kanyang Twitter handle. Being an island nation, we need to challenge ourselves in taking part in creating inclusive smart cities that is resilient to man-made and natural disasters.
Our winner number 4 is Rachel Pascual. Rachel says, small steps can take further along. One bite at a time, be in the know. It's learning what are our opinions, start learning climate change. Yes, and improving within ourselves. You were right. Small steps, like what Miss Arlene said, can make such great impacts. Congratulations, Rachel.
Winner number 5 is HJ. In this difficult time, one of the most important issues we should be focusing on is zero hunger advocacy. We should keep an eye out not only for ourselves, but also for our neighbors. And as a youth, we can start by reducing food waste at home. That's true. That's true. We shouldn't be just thinking about ourselves and our families, but also people around us.
Yes, correct. All right. Is that all that we have today? Are those all of the winners? Yes, I believe so.
Ayan, congrats again to all of our winners, and to claim your prizes, please message SMKers through the Viber number that you see right now flashed on your screen, 0921-295-3753. That is the number. All right, so don't forget to message that Viber number. But now, before we move on to our last and final topic, let's first have an intermission activity. Kinabahan ako. I got nervous. I thought we were going to do an intermission number. It's an intermission activity.
You didn't know? Oh, yeah, we are. I'm kidding.
Moving on. At this point, let's see who's the brightest among all of our participants as we do a quiz game. Now, through this short quiz, we will be able to understand how aware our participants are in the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. So the top 3 scorers will get SM shopping vouchers worth 2,000 pesos, 1,000 pesos, and 500 pesos respectively.
All right, thank you for that, Cholo. And now let us have the GYS Trivia Quiz Bee powered by Quizizz. All of you out there who are watching, you can join by simply, first, step 1 is on your screen. Just type in your search engine, joinmyquiz.com, and then enter. Step 2, all you have to do is enter the join code that you see on your screen. So for today, our join code is 108661. Again, that is 108661. And then make sure that you hit enter in order for you to join. And then afterwards, for our step 3, enter. Oh, sorry. You have to add your first name and add a unique 6-digit combination like this. For example, my name is Micah. So, and then the 6-digit number is 654326.
Very unique.
Very unique. Make sure yours is more unique, okay? Don't be like me. And then you have to click start. Make sure that it is only your first name, okay? And then the unique number. Don't add your last name. And then for our step 4, just take a screenshot of this screen as a validation to claim your prize when you win the quiz trivia quiz B.
All right, so we can see that a lot of people are joining our quiz bee. And again, how to join is by typing on your browsers, joinmyquiz.com. Put the code 108661. Put your name there, your first name plus a unique 6-digit code. And then before you start, take a screenshot of that page that you have proof that if ever you do win, that you are indeed the winner of our quiz bee. All right.
Yes, that's right. We will have a total of 10 trivia questions, everybody. Hindi to enumeration or fill in the blanks. This is a multiple choice kind of game. All right, we are starting already. Whoa. Our first question is, Cholo, please do the honors.
Which SDG emphasizes the need for the provision of space towards inclusive and blank?
All right, guys. You have 20 seconds to key in your answer.
And time is up. Okay, let's see. Jam is on top of the leaderboard. Oh, Zan is on top of the leaderboard right now for the first question. And the correct answer is letter C, goal 11, sustainable cities.
95 of you. Yes, they got it correctly. I hope you get this one correctly as well. Our question number 2 is, who shall ensure the full implementation of RA 11313 Safe Spaces Act? Key in your answers in 20 seconds. And by the way, guys, you have to be mindful that you are the first one to answer the correct answer so that you are on top of the leaderboard.
Okay, the time is up. So let's see who got it correctly. Sneak peek of the leaderboard still. Oh no, Arn took the lead now. Correct answer is letter A, DILG, and 58 got it correctly. Congratulations.
Yes, guys, come on, let's keep the ball rolling. And our third question for the quizzes game is, on what year did the Safe Spaces for Youth become the theme of the International Youth Day? Wow, you guys are so quick.
All right, we got 4 choices here: 2011, 2013, 2018, and 2020. Let's see how many will get this right. We have about 239 players as of right now.
And the time is up. Let us check the leaderboard. What does it say? Are you still number 1, Arn? Ooh, no, Zan is leading now. I love it. It's so competitive. And the correct answer is letter C, 2018, and 78 of you got the answer correctly.
All right, moving on to our next question. What is the name of the series of conversations led by the 5 Global Youth Summit Outstanding Alumni, Safe Space Heroes, discussing important social concerns and challenges facing the world today?
I wonder what that may be. Guys, you have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the time is up. I hope you were able to key in the correct answer. Let's see the leaderboard. Stan, is it still you? Oh, it is still you. Congrats, Zan. All right, the correct answer is letter B, and 54 of you got it correctly. And I believe, Cholo, is this the 5th question already?
I think it is. Yes, it is.
It is the 5th.
This is the 5th one. Yes.
This is the 5th. All right, go ahead. What is the question?
Republic Act 11313 is also known as the blank.
The blank. What is the blank? Any of those multiple question, or rather multiple answers listed there on your phones is the answer. Just one of those, I mean.
Time is up. Let's see who is on top of the leaderboard. We've got Arn taking the lead with 20 points. All right, the correct answer is 158. 158, sorry. Safe Spaces Act and 158 got it correctly. All right, so that is the last
Yes.
question. So let's see who our top 3 winners are.
San, you came so close.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Our winners for today are, we've got Arn at first place with 2,000 pesos worth of vouchers, San with on second place with 1,000 peso voucher, and JMS with a 500 peso voucher. Congratulations to all our winners.
Yes, congratulations to all of our winners. And make sure, in order to claim your prize, to message us on Viber. The Viber number that you need to message is on the screen right now. It's right down here. Kindly send the screenshot of your screen name as a validation. And guys, please do not forget to keep on sending those takeaways, or just share anything that you want with us using the hashtags GYS 2021 and hashtag GYS takeaway. We would love to hear from you because we are doing this for you after all. All right, we now move on to our last topic of the day, which is about decent work and economic growth. So, with the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, the world has been in the worst economic recession since the Great Depression, and billions of lives have been disrupted with the loss of livelihood. And as we try to bounce back from the economic downfall, we believe that it is necessary to is a necessary step to know the essential skills we have to learn in order to thrive in the 21st century workplace. So together, we can improve progressively as we aim to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all.
Now, our speaker on this topic is a motivational speaker, people enabler, and business disruptor who creates wonderful in organizations and is in constant pursuit of excellence. With over 18 years of experience, both in human resource and marketing, she brings people's experiences to a whole new level, empowering employees to unleash their untapped potential and positively impact the organization and its customers. She is a graduate of University of Asia and the Pacific with a degree in Masters of Science in Management. Thereafter, she pursued international business and economics from the am I saying that right? Schmalkalden University in Germany, and international MBA at the Waseda University in Japan, before completing her Bachelor's of Law and Juris Doctor degree at the Arellano University School of Law. She is currently the wonderful Employee Experience Director at Globe Telecom, who ensures that overall operational efficiency of HR services and implements continuous improvements and game-changing employee experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney Nicolette Nico Bombao.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very, very happy to be with all of you today. In fact, I'm very excited that I'm spending my Saturday afternoon with all of you. And I will just be here to tell you stories, not really define what creativity, what innovation is, or what the skills are that are being required in the 21st century. So you will look at my first slide. It's really talking about creativity and innovation. But in the succeeding slide, I'd like to start by saying that the world has really changed. And I know that the pandemic has ushered in the new normal, which comes with its set of new challenges. So in the next slide, please, I'd like to highlight here that the world has really changed a lot, and it continues to change at a very, very fast pace. I would say that the pandemic has really accelerated a lot of things. And we are now faced with questions that we haven't even encountered before. Like, how do we keep everyone connected while social distancing? I mean, it's very difficult for us, especially as human beings, social beings. And how do we even sustain our lifestyle? Pre-pandemic, I never imagined, creating my small gym or mini gym at home, buying my own dumbbells, because I was very, very certain that the gym will always be open 24 hours anytime I want to go to do my lifestyle activities. But there are also questions like, how do we make things more accessible for everyone? But the beauty of these questions, similar to what they say, that whenever there is a problem, there is an equivalent opportunity for us to make that change, is that these questions, the new normal, all the challenges that we have, they will allow us to be creative with our answers. We have the opportunity to think outside the box, disrupt ourselves, and create game-changing solutions that will really allow us to live differently and at the same time support our needs given the changing times. So let me share with you my definition of creativity. It will really bring me now to the topic of our presentation, which is creating solutions through creativity and innovation. And you're probably familiar with all these words. You can always Google, but let me share with you my personal perspective here. Creativity is all about generating new ideas. It's like coming up with the entire universe of all your crazy ideas, being open to all possibilities, in fact, limitless possibilities, without yet thinking of the complications of applying it. This is where you let your mind run as limitless as you can. But here comes innovation. And innovation is, on the other hand, is that practical application of these creative ideas. It's when you start bringing that creative idea into reality. And this is where you're able to identify if there are constraints in the world that we live in. It is a challenge in itself, because when we talk about innovation, we talk about the true innovation that are bold, that are grand and long-lasting. But it's always good to dream big. And when you combine these two, both creativity and innovation, I tell you, what you get is a game-changing product or service that can be used by many. And it is definitely something that will improve the lives of a lot of people, or even the society. And some of you may even ask, how can a non-techie person like me, I'm an HR practitioner, and you may ask, how do I even become innovative or creative, even if I'm not a marketing person or a tech person? But all that is left that I'd like to highlight now is that the most crucial step in becoming creative and innovative, it's really taking that risk. It doesn't matter from which age, from which generation, or from which background you're coming from, but what is important is that you are a risk taker. Let me move on to my next slide. And if you will look at these photos, I'm not even sure if you guys still remember these photos or these names. We have Kodak. I grew up, getting all my photos taken and printed out. So if you visit my room, you'll really find a lot of photo albums there with all the printed photos of me when I was a child. Of course, Blockbuster video rental. It was very, very famous in the US previously. And the advent of VHS, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but VHS, laser discs, etc. And of course, the BlackBerry. I remember, I think this was around high school or early college days. I was very, very excited to have my first BlackBerry because, I felt that, hey, I have my first QWERTY keypad using my BlackBerry. And you'll see that these brands, they were once at the top of their industry, or their specific industries rather. But the question is, where are they now? They got too content within their respective boxes. They rested on their laurels, stuck to the proven formula that, in fact, later on, I'll even tell you what happened to Blockbuster. And in the end, they failed to anticipate, create, disrupt themselves, and even shift in the, prepare for the next shift in customer behavior. So they were just so happy that they were there, but they didn't anticipate that things and the environment would really change. So they did not take the risk to be something else. But compare them to companies such as Apple, for example, where Steve Jobs believed personal computers would eventually move into the palm of your hand. Probably during that time, a lot of people would say, Steve Jobs, you're crazy. Because how can you even convert all those big CPU boxes, the big screens for your personal computers into the palm of your hand. That's crazy. But he also knew that introducing that was very risky because of the advent of Nokia, BlackBerry, but he took the risk anyway. And today we all know the story of iPhone. It's one of the most recognizable phones in the world. So even the apps that we have now, and I personally love, like Netflix, I can't imagine going through the pandemic without Netflix. I couldn't have stayed sane. Of course, Airbnb, not even owning one single resort, but it's thriving. And of course, I hope that you guys are all familiar with Grab. Imagine the problems that we had before, just hailing a cab, getting change. But now we have Grab, and these brands took the same risks. Let me share with you one specific story with Netflix. I read this article where they said that Netflix used to offer Blockbuster the entire company of Netflix, meaning they were asking Blockbuster video rentals to buy them. But during that time, Blockbuster was up there, and they said, no, we don't like your model. Our model is working well, so we don't need that kind of model that you're offering. But, fast forward to now, look at where they are, where Netflix is and where Blockbuster is. So Netflix, Airbnb, Grab, they refused to subscribe to the norm they were in. They wanted to create something new, and in doing so, they were able to answer the pain points that some of the customers did not even realize they had. And that makes the risk worth it. And at Globe, let me share with you that we are firm believers in taking risks. We have gone beyond telco. And in the next slide, you will see a personal story of how we thought outside the box, of how we became disruptive, even as an HR practitioner, creating the next game-changing product. So for example, in the pandemic, in the year 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, our challenge was, how do we make sure that our 8,300 employees were safe? And we're located nationwide. Imagine multiple stores, multiple fields, cell sites, and so on. And we could probably have made use of old existing methods, such as text blasts, emails, to be able to reach out to our people and check and do their daily check-ins. But instead, we were driven to innovate. We wanted to create a new experience for our employees that will make things easier. So we look at tech giants like Google, Facebook. How did they do it? We got inspiration all over the world, and we checked out the best practices in the industry. And this led us to focus our attention on creating a chatbot, one that would provide experience that's easy, seamless, and automatic. And we wanted during the time that people won't feel that, HR is checking up on you and it's not going to be work related. So we created this chatbot, the one that you're seeing on screen right now, using technology borrowed from Workplace by Facebook. What we added, we just used the platform, but we developed our own bot. And this led to the creation of Digital Usher for Disasters and Emergency, or simply called Dude. So what happens is that initially, during our first phase, Dude asked each employee how they're feeling every morning, different ways of checking in. Sometimes we use different languages. Sometimes we give trivia, we give tips, we celebrate international days. But at the end of it all, we get to check with our people and ask them how they are. So you have an option of either saying, I'm good, dude, or I'm not feeling well, dude. Right? That was the first phase, but it expanded and it grew bigger. So what happened was, if they're feeling unwell or experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, they're actually connected immediately to our COVID response team for further assistance. So imagine a cute guy just supporting you and making you feel that you have a friend to help you with whatever you need, whether you need additional masks, alcohol supply, you have PPE requirements if you're a critical skeletal force, and even if you're working from home. What's good is that you're able to tell us immediately, specifically HR, tell us immediately how you're doing. If you're unwell, or if you were able to meet, or probably, how do I say this? If you're able to meet somebody who had the symptoms, then it was easy for us to respond, because it was not tedious for the people to tell us or to report to us that they're unwell. And today, Dude has expanded. We're even providing a lot of mental health support through Dude, a lot of information dissemination now that we're going through the vaccine as well. So Dude has been there for us. And Dude has been well loved by the Globe community since we gave birth to it last March 27, 2020. And what's funny here is that it has been embraced by the Globe community. So one funny story here that I have is that during one of the normal surveys or pulse surveys that we did, we asked our employees, "How are you?" It was an open-ended question and just asking how they are. A lot of people responded, "I'm good, dude," when in fact it was no longer dude that was asking them the question. Okay, so what am I trying to say here? That the amazing thing is that dude was created in just 8 days. Imagine, by non-IT folks, by our team. I'm not a techie person. My teammates were not techie persons. We're not even coding experts. But we were able to execute this by our deep desire to create that new experience, be able to think out of the box, and we took the risk. And I will tell you that, dude is a great success story. We were even recognized globally for this particular innovation. But this isn't always the case. And it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay not to see the results immediately, because sometimes you will encounter numerous road bumps when implementing a solution. Sometimes people will even question your idea. "Why are you doing that? That's crazy," or "That will not fly." But what is important is inside your heart that you will succeed. And there will be a lot of experimentations and frustrations. And that's okay. That's okay. Keep that in mind, because we are already in the agile situation where, you don't have to launch a grand product in one go. We can do it in phases. We can start small and go big. And that is something we experienced with GCash. I hope you're all familiar, and I hope you are users of GCash. And not many of you know, not everyone probably here may know that GCash actually started in 2005. Imagine GCash from 2005 to 2021. And it was a long road to get to where it is today, but it's now the top mobile wallet in the country. I was even surprised reading through some of the reports that we had internally that GCash even surpassed the number of interactions the Instagram users of the Philippines had. So imagine, we're no longer competing with other mobile wallets in the country, but we're already competing with bigger brands such as Grab and Instagram. And there's no better person to tell you about GCash's story and its colorful journey except for our president and CEO himself, Ernest Koo. So he will join us today via video message to tell you more about how we should be able to continuously adapt, create, and innovate in the face of adversity. Remember, there's always an opportunity to disrupt, to create a difference if there is a problem. And I hope this video inspires you to keep dreaming big and aiming for that game-changing idea that will change the world. Moving to the video, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to close out this Global Youth Summit. Now that you've heard a little bit about creativity, innovation, as it relates to opportunities in problems to be solved, let me talk about a little bit about how we evolved our GCash product over the years. Little it be known, but GCash is truly a very old product. It's not a new concept. Globe as an entity found the idea as early as 15 years ago, understanding that moving telco load around was very similar to moving money around. We implemented it in the 2G era using initially feature phones and SMS as a medium to transmit the codes back and forth, to transfer payments, to try and transfer money to other people. Unfortunately, it was a solution way ahead of its time, and a solution that needed the infrastructure of high-speed data and likely 4G and 5G LTE networks to make it work. To add to that, the user experience was inadequate using feature phones, and one truly needed the big screens of smartphones as well as the capability to use apps. However, we did not lose our sight on solving the big problem that needed to be solved, which is 2/3 of our Filipinos remain unbanked or underbanked. And less than 5% of our countrymen have access to credit cards today, including today. And so that with that goal in mind, we continue to keep the product alive, keep the brand in the public eye, and waited for the right opportunity to be able to serve up a great experience and promote financial inclusion at the same time. Long story short, and moving into 2021, GCash has become the de facto standard for financial transactions in the Philippines today. We waited for the right opportunity to scale the business. We prepared for funding. We prepared for great partnerships that enable the right technology to power the system. So about 3.5 years back, we raised some money. We brought in a partner in Ant Financial to provide us the guidance, to provide us the technological platform. So GCash today runs on the same platform as that of Alipay, which now serves over 1 billion customers on a global footprint. Then we waited for the time when smartphone penetration came to the Philippines, when we hit 70%, and when we had prolific 4G networks around the country. We really decided to scale the business and go to it in a big way. We were also very fortunate that we were very, very prepared when the pandemic came around and people wanted to move away from cash-based and physical transactions into pure digital transactions. GCash has truly scaled. Today, it has around 45 million users and will expect to have over 3 trillion pesos passing through it in terms of gross transaction value. I think it's a very good example of our resolve to try to be creative and innovate continuously. Even if an idea is ahead of its time, as long as the problem to be solved remains, I think one should hold steadfast and really push after that problem. Now, the contrary to that is also situations where there are great technological solutions, but really no problem or the solution isn't applicable to the market that you're trying to bring in. Right? So really, as I say to my people all the time, I ask the question, when they bring a proposal, when they bring a product or service for development, what is the problem you are trying to solve for the consumer? Only with a succinct answer, only with a clear answer of what it is you're trying to address, will we continue to fund a particular business. That said, I'd like to keep that in mind as you close out this Global Youth Summit. Keep innovating, keep looking for new solutions to consumer problems, but ensure that the problem exists, the problem is of scale, and the problem is widespread across the people of the Philippines. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Thank you so much, Attorney Nico, for that presentation. I am a proud user of GCash. Personally, to me, the most convenient online wallet out there, to be honest. And by the way, thank you as well for encouraging and inspiring the youth to innovate and maybe even start their own business or social enterprise that will not just be beneficial to themselves, but more so to their entire community that you and as well as the entire Globe team have been doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Micah.
just to add, as much as it is convenient, GCash is, I think it also teaches us that some great things take time. You don't have to wait for results agad eh. I think once you're just passionate about something and you really put the motivation, the dedication to one thing, you will reap what you sow sometime, So thank you so much, Attorney Nico, for that. But right now, we are opening the floor for the question and answer portion. Please send in your questions or share your learnings by tweeting or sending us your hashtag GYSTakeAway. Now we have your first question here on the screen. How can Globe provide access or opportunities for youth to develop their 21st century skills?
Oh, there are a lot of opportunities, actually. The first one would be, we usually partner with our clients or the customer-facing groups, and we look for opportunities for us to be able to reach out to the bigger community. I mean, beyond just being able to provide telco services, connectivity services, the dream of, or the ambition of Globe is really to be able to create that Philippines where families' dreams come true, businesses flourish, and the nation is admired. And by partnering with with these different organizations, whether private or public, we're able to reach the broader population of the Philippines. And we're able to partner with different schools, provide 5G hackathons, even create modules on 5G design thinking. For example, a school of, I think, La Salle Lipa in Batangas, we're able to do these things. And more than that, we have also launched the e-library. This is the globelibrary.ph, where we're able to partner with DepEd, TESDA, and CHED, and be able to provide free access to all these platforms through the Globe connection and network.
Wow, thank you so much, Attorney Nico. It really astounds me how Globe has such a big heart in order to just help other people, push them to be their best selves, and even for education as well, right? Because that takes up a huge part in order for them to just keep going further in their lives and in their careers as well. All right, and now we are going to move on to our second question. This one, Attorney Nico, is from Zoom. It says here, how does Globe support the communities who have little to no access to connectivity?
Okay, let me answer it by saying first that the pandemic has really been our greatest accelerator. Imagine, initially we thought that all our cell sites or network were just sufficient to cover the daily needs of our Filipino people. But during the pandemic, there's the advent of work from home, school from home, and it was just happening the entire time and all over the Philippines. So the first project that we launched was the Connect Tayo Wi-Fi. And we're able to work with the National Housing Authority. Imagine being able to put additional Wi-Fi connections through the poles or even the hallways of these homes. And we're able to get, I think, around more than 100 areas with the partnership with NHA, helping around 40,000 families, giving them free access, and some with as low as 5 peso denomination connectivity. So it has really improved it has given equal opportunities for people to do online businesses, for students to be able to access the e-libraries or whatever online platforms they have to access to continue their studies. That's one. And the second one is that we are continuously investing. In fact, we have announced, I think, a few months ago that we have invested 70 billion pesos to improve the network and the connectivity of Globe nationwide, to be able to reach even the far-flung areas of the country, to be able to sustainably support the needs of our Filipino people. And we're part of the supporters of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, and we know that as we continuously innovate and support the needs of our people, of our Filipino people, it's very, very crucial for us to constantly reach out and not just hit 84 million. So right now, our subscriber base is around 84 million, but we're even going beyond that to be able to address the further communities that we really want to support.
Thank you for that, Attorney Nico. I am actually a proud Globe subscriber, from my phone line to my internet line. And even I use GCash din, and I just love how Globe is thinking of ways on how to adapt during this very trying time, because I know that for everyone, all your consumers and users, this pandemic has taken a toll, not just on our physical health or mental health, but also our relationships and how we do work. And I feel like Globe is helping us to just go further, without having to struggle with connecting at work, connecting at school, or even just getting through our daily lives, because connection is very important, especially during the modern day. So thank you for that, Attorney Nico.
Thank you.
All right. And once again, that was Attorney Nicolette Nico Bambao. And for all those who participated in our question and answer, thank you so much as well. But before we let you go, Attorney Nico, we actually have a surprise for everyone at Zoom. Our registered participants will be raffling out some phones. So you will be helping us announce who will win our phones. We'll be giving away 2 units. All right. So one is a Samsung Galaxy A10 black unit, and another one is a Samsung Galaxy A20 blue unit. So let's start.
All right, let us start. I wonder who the winner will be. Picking a random name right now. You guys see it on the screen. Oh, we have our first winner. Asnaifa Sami. I hope I said your name correctly. Congratulations to you, Asnaifa Sami. All right, we have another winner, I believe. So first
All
was
right, here we go.
Asnaifa, and our next one is
Attorney
It's
Nico, please do the
Melody
honors.
Encinas or Encinas. Melody Encinas, congratulations! You're a new owner of a Samsung Galaxy phone.
All right, so both of them will win their own Samsung Galaxy phone. One will win an A10 and another one will win an A20 unit. Congratulations!
Yes, that's right. Congratulations to all of you. And again, thank you so much to Globe and of course to you, Attorney Nico Bambao. 3 more units of Samsung Galaxy Fit will be given away to GYS Takeaway. So keep on sending those tweets, everybody, with the hashtags #GYS Takeaway and #GYS 2021.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for having me. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Now, before we announce more winners for our activities, we wish to thank all of our speakers once again today, from Architect Felino, Palafox Jr., to Mr. Raymond Rufino, Miss Arlene Tan, Bantoto, Mr. Leo Manuel, Casaclang, and of course to Attorney Nico Bambao. Maraming salamat. And thank you very much for spending your time with us and for sharing with us all of your expertise and experiences to inspire us to achieve our own goals as future leaders. Again, thank you all very, very much.
Okay, Cholo, this has been super refreshing. I want to know, just like very quickly, what have you taken away? Just some of the bits that you consider your favorite throughout this entire summit.
You know what? I think I have to share in general. No, hosting this for 3 years, it's been really amazing to hear these big time people from big companies, from industries, NGOs, the government, who are sharing their knowledge, sharing to us what we can do as youth, as the future of our country, to kind of contribute to the growth. Since it is a very tough time, it is the pandemic now. All of what they said from day 1 to day 2, we should really take them all into account when the new normal starts. When we're done with this, when we're done with the whole pandemic, we should take everything that they taught us and use that so that we can build a better future for ourselves. We are the youth and we are the future, and we have a voice, and we should use that voice in every platform that we have. What do you
Yes, that's right. Beautifully said, Cholo. And I totally agree with you. I remember we hosted for this in MOA back in 2019, right? And I felt the exact same thing. I was so motivated as part of the audience. Even though I was a host, I was also spoken to by all the different speakers and was just motivated, again, inspired to keep going, do my part, not only for my family, but more so for the community. Because imagine if a single person, or rather if each one of us had the mentality to show love and compassion and keep doing our purpose, again, not only for our own gain or our own agenda, but for everyone around us, then imagine how much better our world would be, right? And I think, just to share to everybody, we will all experience a lot of fear, a lot of failure, and especially during this time. But what is important is that we use our failures and these L's as our ladder to success. So don't be discouraged, everybody. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on staying motivated and remember our purpose, our why. We do the things that we do in order to move forward in our lives. Thank you to GYS for, just serving as an inspiration to so many youth around the Philippines and different parts of the world. Thank you very much.
Even if we did not hold a physical event of the Global Youth Summit, we will continue with tradition and keep the Global Youth Summit 2020 pledge. You know what? We really take that into heart. We really take that into account. But also, what we want you guys to do is to join us today. We want you guys to, in your own homes, if you are at home, and we do hope that you guys are at home, that you make this pledge a commitment to uphold the youth values of courage, collaboration, and fairness as you carry on your duties to becoming our country's next leaders. Let us all welcome our Global Youth Summit outstanding alumni to lead us to the pledge.
I,
pledge to give my all
each day to promote and fulfill my advocacy
as a global citizen,
living each day and collaborating with my fellow young leaders,
uniting each and everyone as one world.
I am a young leader. I pledge to live each and every day,
finding inspiration in the world around me,
creating engagement with myself and my community,
and activating not just my own potential, but of the entire world.
I know this will take time, that this will be far from easy.
But change takes time, and that's what I'm young for.
To design,
develop,
deliver,
to break the box,
and to move as one nation
and one world.
So help me God.
That was so great. You guys are very inspiring. So let us all continue to uphold our commitment to having a better community.
All right, now we will be announcing the third and last batch of winners of SM shopping vouchers from SM Cares. Winners were chosen based on their best takeaway tweets of impactful lessons learned from our speakers from the first session. So let's see who our last batch of winners are. Ayan, starting with Christelle saying, not all people realize how impactful they are on the environment. Participating in GIS is truly an eye-opener. Now, more youth, including myself, are inspired to embrace sustainability and continuously doing our part in taking care of our whole planet. Thank you so much.
Yes, our next winner is Fabienne. This new normal has made me understand many things, particularly about our environment. And as a part of the youth, our small gestures will pay off, especially if they are executed thoughtfully and efficiently. Thank you, Miss Arlene from Nestlé. Glad you learned from Miss Arlene today, Fabienne.
Next one is Justin Molato saying, we need change for our country. So now on, let's start changing our habits to adapt more learning and promote local products like vegetables, fruits, and many more. Tama yan.
Yes. And winner number 4, we have Almond 16 Armand. Ever since I was a child, I haven't been picky with what I eat. I make sure that I don't waste food to honor the hardships of our farmers and fisher folks. I hope everyone will be more into sustainable consumption. Yes, you're right. I hope people will have that mindset like you, Mond. Thank you and congratulations.
And our last winner is Cecilia. This summit injects inspiration in my heart. It gives us a clarity on what our purpose is in life. We may all be different, but we live in one planet. We must look after each other and take care of our environment, especially during these challenging times. Kagaya nga na sinabi kanina, we don't have a second planet. This is the only planet we have. So let's take care of it.
So congratulations to the 5 winners of our GC. But wait, guys, there is more. We have more to give out because we have 3 more winners of the Samsung Fit. Of course, this is by Globe. Thank you, Globe. All right,
but
so who are our
we do
3
that,
winners? Go ahead.
all right, before we do that, we have to give away first the 3 clean canteen tumblers from the Global Youth Summit Viber community.
I was just exciting them. I was just really exciting them.
Yeah, suspense for everyone who want to win the phone. But hey,
Suspense.
congratulations! A clean canteen is a pretty awesome prize. So congratulations to Erwin Forte, Precious Abelia, and Shaina Murillo. Congratulations.
Congrats, you guys. Erwin, Precious, and Shaina. You guys have won yourselves clean canteens. And we also have our SM Online winners. Do the honors, Cholo.
All right, winners of our 2,000 pesos worth of SM shopping vouchers from SM Malls Online are Brian Ico, R. Mark Randolph Castro, Gio Tamblique, PJ Remolona, and Irene Masagnay, and Vid Ots. Congratulations.
Ooh, congrats to all of you guys. All right, now I think we have to move to the exciting part of the day. Our
Yes.
winners of the Samsung Galaxy Fit. Who do we have? Was already flashed on the screen? Let's wait to have that flashed once more. All right, congratulations to you, our first winner of the Samsung Galaxy Fit, Seth Patrick Obedeza. Seth said, "We know that adjusting to change can be challenging, be it planned or unplanned, gradual or sudden. Change is inevitable and very much part of being human. Yes, over the past few months, we've experienced an unprecedented shift in our way of life due to COVID-19. Congrats, Seth! Woohoo! First winner! Second winner, Cholo.
We've got Frolindil. Did I say your name right? Frolindil? Okay, take away from
Line.
Filipino. As youth, we should make demands for green and net zero buildings. Developers would listen and transform sustainably if the demand is high. Let's go green, one with nature. Congrats!
Congratulations! All right, our last winner of the Samsung Galaxy Fit, we have J Lo Mina, or J Lo of the Orient. Sorry about that. He says, "We are the roots of these problems, but the good news is we are also the solution." Yes, I love that. We can make a change now. It is the time for the leaders to be born and to do their responsibilities. As a youth, we can make a change. Actually, we've been born already. The youth has now grown up, and you guys are the next generation leaders. Congratulations, J Lo Mina, for winning yourself a Samsung Galaxy Fit care of Globe.
Congratulations to all our winners. To claim your prizes, message us on Viber. The Viber number is seen right now on your screen. So dial 0921-295-3753. Send us a message and let us know that you are our winners. So all of our winners today, congratulations. For those who didn't win, we won learnings today. We won so much knowledge today. So I think that's more than enough of a takeaway for the past 2 days that we've been doing the Global Youth Summit. And to all of our attendees, I know many of you guys are asking for the e-certificates. Please answer our online feedback form that is being flashed right now on your screens. And after completing the form, you will receive your e-certificate. So there is a QR code, and I love QR codes, Micah. Don't you love QR codes as well? Diba? Super simple.
Yes.
Makes everything super simple.
And dude, so many people have now learned how to scan QR codes.
That's
People
true.
from all ages, right? Because before you go to the mall, you have to scan the QR code, or everywhere you go
That's
for that
true.
matter.
Yeah, so ito
All
na, you
right.
can see it there in front of you. So scan it right now. Do not miss it. Or if you want to type in the link on the browsers, on your browsers, you can just type it right there. It's bit.ly/GYS2021-survey.
Yes, thank you so much, Cholo. Scan that QR code. Oops, it's now gone. You guys had your chance. But anyway, you guys have been so amazing and fantastic throughout this entire summit. I mean, you've made us trend not just once, but twice in the 2 days that we've held this. So give yourselves a huge round of applause, a virtual one, because this has been such an amazing and informative 2 days. And for those who are watching, via Zoom, we have an exclusive treat for all of you guys. Relive the One Dream Korea One World Global Peace Concert Experiences in Korea 2015 and the Philippines 2017. The One Korea Global campaign is a popular movement to expand Korean led initiatives and international support to achieve the dream of a free, just, and unified Korean peninsula. Featuring, guys, do not burn me if I say these names incorrectly, but wow, I love some of these bands. We have Shiny, we have Cyan Blue, EXO, Wonder Girls, Sista, Exid, Girls' Day, Na Yoon Kwon. Cholo, help me out here.
We also got Red Velvet, you got Yuna, we got Kim Johan, BTS, GOT7, and many, many more. So do not go anywhere. Again, thank you very much to Global Peace Foundation, SM Cares, Consuelo Foundation, CIE British School, Rotary Club of Makati Circle of Friends, Nestlé Philippines, Unilever, and Globe for making this virtual Global Youth Summit happen. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I hope that you enjoyed and learned so much from this summit. And watch out, because this will certainly not be the last. Take home everything that you learned with you and make sure that they don't just sit in your hearts, in your minds, but please do put them into action. Once again, I am Micah Louisse.
And I'm Cholo de la Cruz, and in behalf of our interpreters, MA and Aimee, maraming salamat po for joining us in this year's virtual Global Youth Summit in conjunction with the Global Peace Convention. Keep safe, everyone, and we'll see you all again next year. Bye!
Bye!